Hello, and welcome to a very special episode.
You say that every episode of this is very special.
Well, this is a very special episode for me, Sam, because today we're talking about the second half of the Hunter x Hunter manga, or Hunter x Hunter manga.
After egg. X is silent.
Sorry, you're throwing me off my game. We're talking about the Chimera Ant arc. The second half of the Chimera Ant arc,
Yes.
colloquially known as the Palace Invasion.
Yes. I read through this shit quick.
Yes, so for those of us who are new, I don't know why you're here, Sam has been reading Hunter x Hunter. This is his first time going through it. He's very much enjoying it.
Yes.
I'm a series veteran, if you will. I've seen the anime. I've read the manga. I actually reread this arc in like the last 2 days because I love it so much and I wanted to re-experience it and also have a fresh mind.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam,
Yeah.
what did you think of the Chimera Ant arc?
Pretty crazy. Some things, my predictions came true. Some things didn't. But overall, it's pretty nuts. Especially the ending is such a downer.
The ending is crazy. I mean, we're gonna go into deep detail in this arc, but
a huge downer.
it is insane. It's a downer, but it's also like it's incredibly sweet. And
Still,
like it's a bittersweet, I guess is the right word.
Very
Like
bittersweet, and I had to give it a lot of credit for doing that compared to like a lot of shonen stuff.
so, one thing that I like to think about is like, remember the Hunter exam?
Yeah,
Just like think about the tone during the Hunter exam.
I mean, there was still a decent amount of murder in it.
Oh yeah, Hunter x Hunter always had a bit of a dark tone. Like that's why one reason why I think it's good throughout. I'm not trying to say Hunter x Hunter was like bad or kiddie before, but like the level of like pathos that every character is given is insane.
Once I really hit York New, I kind of realized how bloody it can get. But I thought because of that, I thought there'd be a lot more corpses than this. Even though a lot of people do die.
They literally say.
I wrote it down. We
Yes.
will get there. But I meant like as like people you would know or side. Because Yorkie was like, here's side characters. You learn their names and some stuff about them. They're dead.
Yeah.
You forget. You're not even mentioned. They're dead. And then just like this one, just like no one. You think someone in the invasion force would die, and they just don't.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I even wrote death flags at a certain point. Cause I feel like okay, these are like some obvious death flags they're throwing in here.
So yeah, you like the arc.
Yes.
I think it's good. How do you think it compares to the other arcs of Hunter?
It definitely is the best one.
Hell
I think
yeah.
it is a very long arc though, but I think the second half is way better than the first half.
I very much agree. I think the first half is very slow burn.
Yeah.
And like it's funny because when we went over it, I forgot a lot of the smaller fights because I think I said this last time, like I felt like Togashi almost had like a mandate by like a publisher to say like, okay, there hasn't been a fight in a bit. Can you just introduce a new ant and have Gon kill him really quick?
It really felt like that in the early part. Just like, yeah, here's the fight of the week, or even. But there were some cool, cool ones. Like the dart one was definitely the most original one he had out there, other than just he's an armadillo that rolls, or
yeah. Yeah, there's like a growing complexity to the ants, and that's like intentional. I think like they initially don't even know Nen, so.
Yeah. I mean, he limited, like, he's a guy that can't do more ants of the week, like, on this one. There's a set number of them.
But it's one thing I think is really cool is, like, the ants that he took, like, the few ants that survived to the palace invasion, like, every single one is important. Except, like, one.
Chitu?
No, Chitu, but Chitu's, like, funny. Like, that's a joke.
I know, but all that build up for a comic relief thing. But no, there was the two jobber ants that get killed, like, very easily. But.
Yeah, they are, like, yeah, very clearly...
I guess we gotta have multiple pages of notes, very long.
Did you count how many pages you have?
You want to guess?
Quick. 7.
Do you count front and back as one page?
No, count front and... Okay, no, I do in this.
Count it as one page?
Yeah, front and back's one page.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, 6.5.
Oh, well, it's 7. I'm a genius. You counted 7.
Yeah, 6.
All right.
You can round up if you want.
I think it'd be fun for me. So I listened back to your predictions.
Oh, also, if people who don't know, is covering chapters 261 to 318 is where the invasion arc is.
Thank you for saying that. Also, big reminder: spoilers. Obviously, we're gonna spoil everything up until chapter 318.
Yes.
I don't know what chapter what episode of the anime that is. I'm sorry.
Who knows? I don't know.
It's got to be like 130, maybe. I don't fucking know. Just look it up. No spoilers after that. Sam has not read that far.
Yes.
So I think it would be fun for me to go over some of your predictions.
We're now not saving that for the end from like.
I think they're pretty like. Let's do them now.
Okay, I'm not sure you're gonna save it to the end when we actually like concluded everything.
I'm gonna save one for the end because there's one that's big.
Okay.
So basically, out of all of your like character deaths, you thought for sure that Shoot was gonna die.
Yeah.
Which he barely
does, and he comes closest to death out of everyone.
He really does.
Next to Moral. That's what's gonna die.
Shoot, I cannot wait to talk about Shoot. Shoot is like one of my favorite characters in this.
Even though he's just like most forgotten one compared. Like,
but what he does is like so important.
And I know it does drive Knuckle like the entire time as well. But
so you also thought that Meliaran would die, the chameleon.
Okay, yeah, because I literally felt like they're going to get in a sneak attack, and then he's going to get known, and he's going to die, sacrificing himself for like Gone or something. Yeah,
you thought the chairman would die, but you kind of.
Well, that was obvious.
Yeah, you kind of knew that there was
an election.
Yeah, there's an election afterwards.
Yeah.
The other one is Komugi. You thought Komugi would die. You thought that Pouf. You predicted Pouf would kill Komugi, which
you tried plenty of times.
Yes, when you said that, I was like, "Damn, Sam is like really picking up on something."
You had a hate boner for her ever since.
Yeah. So your theory was Komugi is a key. Komugi is the key to the king to go crazy, like to snap. Pouf will kill her. Meruem will go crazy and then kill Pouf. That was your prediction.
Yeah.
And then like almost happened.
Kind of. It kind of happened.
It almost happened.
Yeah, he is the reason why Pouf dies though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that the king kills Pouf. It's not like his intention.
I feel like he knows he's dying and like being infectious. So
he might have known at that point. It's arguable whether he knew before he spoke with Palm. He might not have known.
Yeah.
But then he was able to like read Palm. He becomes a god at the end of this. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Also,
he becomes a god.
Okay, I do have another thing I've been dying to say.
Okay.
Like I'm dying to share, but you also said
I think I said Palm wasn't gonna live.
I think it was a little unclear when I listened back. I think I might have talked over you.
That's also like a confusing one. It could have went either way, but I wouldn't have predicted that she was gonna be like
become an ant.
Yeah, or it's a weird like hybrid.
You said that Gon will have to kill the cat girl.
Or I probably kill Kite, and then he go.
Yeah. So this is your prediction, which I thought was very interesting. So you thought that they would kill, like Shoot would die, which would cause Kite to break out of his little cage,
but he was already free from apparently.
Yeah. But so your prediction was Gon would have to kill Kite, and that's what would drive him to like
snap
and go crazy, and then Gon would fight Meruem in his super form, in his like
hair,
his big hair form, I guess we'll call it. And then there's one more that I'll actually, no, I'll just share this one now.
Okay.
So we talked about the child that is extracted from.
I cannot predict it. I want to talk about it towards the end.
Yeah.
I would literally like yell like, "What the fuck?"
But for anyone that is curious what Sam predicted and didn't remember last time, he said that the child was a baby girl, which you were correct.
Yeah.
Weird. So. You also said will become a Nen vacuum and make the king powerless, or would be Colt's sister, which was a pretty good guess, but we do find out what happens to Colt's sister.
Yeah, out of nowhere, just so you're gonna give us some nice closure that people could have forgotten about, because that was probably years after like the initial thing happened.
I do love that thing. So okay, before we start going into it proper, I do want to say I love this arc so much.
Yes.
There's so many moments in here that make me feel incredibly emotional. Yeah. And like I've reread like half of it in the past day or so, and like many times that was I crying or did tears start forming.
I don't think I really cried.
Really?
I get like I think damn I don't think everything made me drive to tears, but that's just me. Like I cry more towards anime than I do towards like manga. I think
manga actually makes me cry more than anime does.
Except for some like the certain like reaction faces. I think like you definitely like the Gon initial talking to Pito was like that, but like. I've only been like that.
I'll make sure that I bring up all of the times that I weep during this arc, because I like, and that's the other thing I want to say before we jump into it. Like, if you're an anime only, which is totally fine, you're not going to be spoiled by anything. I really, really, really implore you to read the manga, even though like a lot of the sketches, like the art that Togashi does in this arc is when he was like at his worst, like pain-wise. So there are a lot of chapters that came out like unfinished that he revised later.
Yeah.
Everything that's out right now for this arc is like, it's so good. Even the ones that aren't like super detailed, like the raw emotion that he pours on the page make like you feel every emotion with these characters. It's so impressive. And the anime does a pretty good job at it, but I think that just getting it from Togashi himself is just Italian kissing noises.
So should we actually start on
Yes, so
going through here with like initially just like the group like talking about their plan and like Knuckle shoot Melaron put to go take on Youpi, I think it was.
Okay, yeah, so the plan was so
Killua and Gon had to go find Pito, Ikago had to go find Palm, and Moral takes care of Shy Pouf.
Yeah.
Or Pouf.
So the big thing was like, okay, they've got all these plans. Knuckle is going to be using Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
I always just refer to it as interest.
Hagokare. I think it's called Hagokare.
Yeah.
He's going to use that against Pito. Sorry. Youpi. It's going to be hard. Youpi and Pito always throw me off. Because they deem him to be a big threat. And so that's going to be like...
He's a big guy.
Yeah, those two fighting, which... Shoot goes into it like super scared. Like Shoot's whole thing is he's like Killua kind of, where he's like non-confrontational, like he doesn't want to fight until Killua has his like
he
takes the needle out.
It's funny that they do reference. Yeah, they do get reference. So and then but then it cuts to the character left. Like, oh, it's not important. It was Hina, who is the exorcist they have. Rather, exorcism makes her look prego. Weird fetish. Okay.
So can you remind me why? What is she exercising?
She exercises your net ability.
Which one?
Because remember, she's the one that transplants like Cheeto a different ability.
Oh, okay. So she's the one that does it.
She also removed the interest from Cheeto. Or Cheeto. Maybe when she removed his ability, it got rid of the interest as well, since it was like tied to that.
Okay.
That's what I assumed. And then she has her little...
she does look pregnant with stretch marks. It's weird.
It is very weird.
It is like a little fetish, I'm not going to lie.
And then we get the little... the peon ant, Shidori, or I think her name was. Then we get Bizef looking for Palm, and that's where we get our first real introduction in the where we're at. It was Welfin, who's the wolf dude, who I thought, okay, he's gonna be the one, him and Blaster are gonna be like the villains of the week kind of thing for the other characters to deal with. But no, they are full-fledged characters, or at least Welfin is more than Blaster, but Blaster gets a nice little characters thing. Yeah, Blaster gets probably the smallest like role out of all of these like that guys that aren't instantly killed. But Welfin is like an important character,
very fucking important. Like Welfin has one of the moments that I cry at. I was like on the edge of my seat with him and the king. I know. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. So he has another important thing. Like, he can hear radio waves. So like he's just low key like psychic kind of way. It's weird. Could he hear radio waves, or was he just so good at hearing that he's able to? I think he was so good at hearing he hear radio waves. But I just wrote down he can hear that. Yeah. So yeah, he's gonna find Palm for him. He wants to take Bizef back, like, he's the real ruler, and so he wants to be king, because everybody wants to be fucking king in this. Unless you're a royal guard. Yeah, the royal guard's very much all just super loyal. Yeah, so he's tracking them, and then I even wrote down the two jobber ants like Killua kills like instantly. Do they have names? It was Inzaghi and like Maenole, like Menole. Manolo, who cares? He gets yo-yoed. So I love how brutal fucking Killua is. We're just completely exploding their heads with yo-yos. Yeah. So then Cheeto meets with Blaster. He says he has a new power called... I thought this would be important, so I wrote down the name. The Hind Spot of War, Dance of Cheetah. But like, not important anymore. Nope. Oh, it's so funny. I love that bit so much. So yeah, that's when the Kamui wants to play. The king is still thinking, and that's when the king smacks Youpi. And now they all have been smacked and been slapped by the tail. Which I think they even make a reference to. Yeah, they do. I think Pouf says, "Oh, we all have been smacked around." And so okay, this is like I think the beginning of Youpi's arc here, because Youpi has like probably one of the most surprising arcs. Yes, he is a big focus for like the first like quarter, like half of the fight is just his fight with everybody. Because up to this point, him and Pouf haven't really had a ton of focus on them. Like all their scenes have just been kind of setting up. It's more so built up to Pito more than everyone else. And so this basically like the thing that I find so fascinating about this arc, and this is something that I know you're gonna make fun of me. Digibro, formerly known as Digibro, Digine, had made a Hunter x Hunter video ages ago, and basically the thesis of that video is like how this whole arc is like chaos theory, basically. Like it's kind of like the butterfly effect. It's like how one small change just drastically impacts the whole flow of events. Because basically their initial plan was, okay, we're gonna be able to storm the...
Each of us takes out a guard, and then we can focus on the king all together.
And they were like, okay, the king is going to be in the throne room, so they're going to be like 20 feet away from the king. But then, because of...
The whole thing with Youpi on the staircase, then that had changed everything.
Yeah, because Youpi was like irritating the king because the king wanted like some privacy, and then they end up moving. Him and Komugi moved to do their game and to play Gungi in another place.
Yeah.
Having Pito... Sorry, not Pito. I'm going to keep saying Pito, and I mean Youpi. Having Youpi come and sit on the stairs, and then when everyone exits the portal, turns around, sees him, it's like, fuck. It is like the big, like, fuck moments.
It really is. So, yeah, that's when we get, Pito gets put in position outside to keep watch, but only to the first floor, because the king doesn't want to be watched, because we learned that it bothers the king for his, like, end to be, like, anywhere near him, essentially.
Yeah, this is... really cool. Like, I like how they go into the whole, like, logistics of N.
Yeah.
Because, like...
N is very heavily used in this.
Yeah. N is...
it's kind of Pito's gimmick more than the puppet itself.
Yeah, because Pito is, like, basically, like...
A cat. It's a cat. A cat has like, the extra kind of sense kind of thing.
And it's really funny, too, because this is another thing where it's, like, the king's decision to, like, oh, no, don't do this. Turn off your N... makes it so that they have a little bit extra, like Pito's focus is in the sky, whereas normal, like if Pito had his end still up, he would have probably gone to attack the actual invasion crew.
So yeah, then that's it. I should finish the first chapter. Okay, but yeah, so they're still planning out. Mortal says the king may try to reproduce, which I'm thinking, you think we're really gonna do that with? Because I think one of my predictions was like there's a possibility that the king could, just live a quiet life with Komugi and, like, just live in a countryside or something. I was just like, they could, but, yeah, Killua was wondering why the king was self-harm, and Gon basically says, when you can't forgive yourself, you hurt yourself. Yes. And I was like, they got that. They read him like a freaking fiddle.
Yeah, it's really, like, all this stuff with Gon early, like, Gon and Killua's relationship in this arc is just heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
It really fucks me up.
So, yeah, Wolfen, like, kind of figures out what happened was, Nav's, like, tracking and, like, sneaking in there, but he's not going to tell Youpi at all, because he's that kind of guy.
Yeah. It's just cool because, like, you see how complicated they are. Like, this is something that Palm brings up, like, way later. It's, like, because the ants are really, like, fusions between humans and ant.
Yes.
They're not, like... Whereas the only ones that are super loyal are the Royal Guards, whereas all the other ants are like very like
selfish.
Yes, they have some are selfish, some are like more like less focused, and
it also depends on how much they like remember their humanity more so.
Yeah.
So, but that's especially the dark side of humanity is being all backstabby and all that fun stuff.
Which, and if you think about it, like I think I mentioned this last time too, most of the guys that were eaten to become ants were like actual criminals, like terrorist, drug smuggler, like weapons dealer, like bad guys.
Yeah. Only like a few nen users got like eaten, which was the one we saw in the Hunter exam, the bow and arrow.
Yeah, rip and roast.
Which could have been a nice little callback because I don't remember them being them, but nah. So
it's one of the guys that Killua murdered instantly.
Yeah. So at 1 minute before the mission starts, that's when we see two men drop off a creature. Which...
Wait. Oh, okay. Out of the sky. Two men jump out of the sky.
Yeah, and Pito notices them and moves his end, but the sending R is super powerful, and Pouf sees it too, also. Yeah. And it's a dragon, and we see the chairman, and I didn't realize at first, cause it was Zeno, who was Killua's grandfather.
Yes.
I was like, I should notice him. It seems so important that I just remember, like, how to look up the grandfather.
Yeah.
So
it's funny because like the Zoldycks, I know obviously Killua's in like every arc, so Killua's
almost
Zoldyck,
every arc.
But wait,
I don't think he's in Dark. I'm not sure he's in Dark Continent, so I can't. Say
okay, well I'm talking about up to this point.
Right.
I'm not going to talk about anything after. But like the Zoldycks are very important in every arc. Like the same with like Hisoka. This is the only arc that Hisoka is like completely disconnected from. Like. The Zoldycks are, like, they pretty much make an appearance in every...
One of the members, yeah.
Yeah, in some form. So, and then we get, like, 3 here at the end. It's pretty fun. Actually,
Well,
technically, we Kaluto in the
yeah.
little side
Even
story too.
Lumi, I think, had like an image appear when he's doing he's having trouble with
the needle.
Yeah. So, yeah, Pito enters battle mode and
sorry to keep interrupting, but I just love like that one frame of like Pito seeing that there's like this powerful enemy in the sky and his eyes have little hearts in it and he's like his face lights up.
But then the dragons split up into multiple dragons and this rain hell. And Pito causes them to lose sight, and they still locate this, sixth sense, because cats.
Yeah.
And uses his ability to fight at full power. So it's like one of the.
So yeah, one of the puppets. It's called like It's like Triskasia. It's got a really weird name. I should look it up.
Yeah.
Basically, I think this is just so cool. The power is that it like controls his body for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's operating stronger than he possibly could himself.
It's kind of like what's his name? We saw in the Sean arcs, like when he put himself in autopilot.
Exactly, that's very similar.
Yeah,
it's just like slightly different.
Yeah, I even wrote down the cat did a great face towards them, but the cat gets fucked up. I wrote because before you can see the evolution of me like not really remembering the name to me going to their names. So yeah, they also have the narrator explain how they can talk in their mind in like a fraction of a second.
Yeah, so
It's a very important thing.
I want to actually. This is really important. I want to bring this up. So, in this arc, we see a lot of time slowing down.
Yes.
Like it's not just like the classic thing in anime or JoJo, whatever, where
you just think.
Yeah, the characters have a lot of time to think. They like explicitly make reference to it a lot. Yeah. Even Zeno, like. He is very surprised at this. So I have a fan theory. I'll drop it now.
Sure.
I think that the king... Well, okay, this doesn't really apply to this scene because he's not here. But I think that Meruem has a time stop ability.
Interesting.
It's just not really fleshed out or elaborated.
Why, yes, I don't know. If he did, he probably would have been able to get to the chairman a lot easier. Though.
Well, I think he hasn't really quite developed it yet. I think it's one of those things like he's so...
It's just more that he's fast and anything, and since because all those Gungi games, like he just holds, he's just durable enough to just get a strategy or like make him see an opening and then just strikes.
Maybe, but like the part when they confront him, I'm skipping ahead. But the part when Zeno and Netero confront him, he's like that's when Zeno says like it's like time stopped and like. He didn't say that. It's like time slowed down so much, and he could like feel it. So I think that, and then like later on, we see him like move at the speed of light.
His name was more so the photon stuff than anything.
Well, that was like later. That was like after his. But that's the thing. Like, this is why it's a fan theory because it's never like explicitly said, but you can infer based on like how quickly he moves so fucking quick at the end of this. Like, it feels like he has...
He does, especially when he goes captures people.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It really feels... If he doesn't have time stop, he has, like, extreme time slow. That's my fan theory.
Still. I don't know. And then... It's like, it just made me think about, like, someone made a video, I said it before, but, the Deku from, My Hero, but, like, they edit out, like, all his, like,
all his inner monologue,
so it's just him staying there quietly, it's really awkward.
Yeah.
So, you can't read the chairman's Nen. They said he's always been old, so you...
Yes, which, it's funny, we rarely see Killua's great-grandfather, but we see a little picture of him there.
Yes.
He looks like a frog.
Well, we said he fought Killua's granddad's granddad, and lived, and that he's better than him as well. So, getting your power levels there, and how old he actually is.
Yes. And I think they literally say... There's one scene where he's like... They say that, like, his training scene... When he had his, like, training scene, they say that was, like, 50 years ago.
I did write it down, so when we get there, I'll say what I wrote.
Netero is old as fuck.
Yes. He does an impossible attack, and that's when the team enters the palace, and that's when the timer actually starts.
So, okay, I do want to say, another thing that I like love about the logistics of this fight, and I just showed Sam the video where they play, someone edited it, so you see, like, the first, like, I think it's the first, like, 10 seconds of the arc in like, simultaneously, so you see, like, Pito's perspective, Youpi's perspective, and the coolest thing here that I love, and it kind of comes up later, is so Pito like jumps up to fight Netero, and Netero, this is when like the time slows down. Netero hits Pito so hard, Pito does not even see it coming, and then Pito uses Dr. Blythe to like suspend himself so he doesn't keep flying away, because he says like this would launch me like 2 miles away. But because of that, he can only fall. Like he doesn't have wings, so he can't like go down and fight. So he's like stuck in the air, falling down. Like I just think that is so cool that is like a kind of a plot point here. Like he can't do anything to protect the king.
And just saying how early we get the flashback at 265. It was 60 years ago.
Netero, right?
Yeah, 60 years ago when he was 46 years old. He had 10,000 straight punches a day, which is like a One Punch Man training regimen. Then he collapsed. But after 2 years, he noticed the sun didn't set.
He just was getting so good at punches. He could punch a bunch.
And just didn't even notice.
Well, the other important thing is he prays.
Yes.
Once he finishes his punching, he prays for the rest of the day.
So at 50 years old, he could punch and do all the punches in less than an hour. And then he came back. He came back to his dojo. The punch left sounds behind him, and that's when he developed the actual the boat. You pronounce it?
Bodhisattva. It's so
Bodhisattva.
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 It's a. What is that? It's like a bodhisattva. It's called bodhisattva.
Okay.
It's something...
Is it even Nen?
This is definitely Nen.
Okay.
It's not... What do you think it is?
I don't know. It's just some weird, like, you hit the peak physical human thing, you kind of get, like, access to his technique. Because even this one guy's like, oh, he has this thing. He's a monster.
No, it is definitely Nen. This is, but...
a religious Nen you have to pray.
So...
pray to get.
Bodhisattva is a Buddhist term. Person who's able to reach nirvana but delays doing so out of compassion in order to save suffering beings. They also say it's like feminine. They refer to the face being like feminine, I think.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's the coolest shit ever.
So
it is so fucking cool.
It's pretty cool. So yeah, you said Pito uses Dr. Blythe. But he can't move and activate it. That's what saves him from getting knocked away.
This is one of those things that I just appreciate Togashi so much for, is that he's able to like construct powers that can be used in totally unexpected ways. Like it makes sense that Dr. Blythe would have the restriction that it can't move.
Yeah.
But then it totally works out for Pito here, where he's able to use it to basically save himself.
It's an anchor, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when it cuts back and we get Youpi spreading all the arms. Like, the horrific arms, and then so we learn that he's the only non-human hybrid guard.
Yeah, he's only of, like, magical beasts.
Yes.
I think they say.
Magical beast genes, and then he has no ego, is what they say. So
yeah, that's kind of interesting, because, like, ego...
He develops an ego.
Yeah, ego would be a very, like, human thing.
Yes.
And because he's more of, like, an animal, he just kind of goes by instinct and instruction.
Yeah. And,
But yeah, so this whole, like... There's so much development in this whole arc, but I guess we'll go through it.
I mean, Shoot tried going to distract him, but Killua notices his grandpa. Everybody kind of gets distracted from the whole thing happening on the outside, except for Gon, who goes in there for a punch.
Yeah.
He had a fight in case Shoot and Knuckle got hit, and now Shoot's gonna fight Pito. They kind of like, okay, we have to swap now, guys.
Yeah. Even
though it doesn't go that way at all.
No, they're able to pretty much, like, kind of course correct and go back to what the plan was.
Yeah.
But so... This whole scene is just like...
Yeah, the Shoot... This is the Shoot character, like, moment where he changes.
Oh, so there's... Like, this is why I love Shoot so much, and I think Shoot's really underappreciated. So, this one scene here, like, Shoot says he's, like... Because this didn't go according to plan, he's so caught off guard, he's, like...
He's crying.
Paralyzed. He's crying. And then just seeing Gon run towards Youpi with no fear inspires him to, like, become greater than he's ever been before.
And he's saying that he owes Gon, and...
Oh, it's so fucking awesome.
He breaks out of his little mental cage, because, it puts to symbolize his Nen ability, too.
Yep.
So...
Yep, you got the cage bird sing.
And one of the death flags, he swears to survive. So, as like death flag number 1 that I wrote down. So, Youpi gets hit by Knuckle, spawning the interest.
Yeah, which is, like, so funny, to have, like, Youpi trying to understand. Youpi, like, never understands what is happening to him.
It's just an annoying thing that's following him.
He just knows that it should go away, and he tries to make it go away.
Yeah.
But he never gets the thing explained to him.
No.
Which, honestly, it's kind of OP. I think... Hatsugare, the bankruptcy power, chapter 7, whatever it's called, it's a little OP.
Well, at the end, all it does is make you not be able to use Nen for 30 days, correct?
Yeah.
But I feel like Youpi is like could just be fine without his Nen and just do his weird adaptive magical beast like body.
Maybe, but like
unless that's part of him, his changing body is part of his Nen.
I would definitely say it is. I don't know if it's ever explained
I felt
what is.
the rage explosion thing was part of his Nen because that's what made it go up the most.
That definitely is. I don't know if it's ever explained what kind of Nen user he is.
I feel
it
like
definitely is not explained in
he,
fiction.
He made more like the explosion thing was definitely like an emitter.
Yeah.
Thing, but I feel like maybe the physical stuff was more on like the low key enhancer stuff, just like physically altering your body. Or like
enhancer makes more sense.
Did I make a prediction that like he was going to be like adapting like power?
Maybe you might have done it before we did the predictions because I only re-listened to the prediction section.
I feel like that was like one of my things I thought. But yeah, so Knuckle power activates. Youpi just morphs eyes all over him and it's like really gross looking.
Yeah, I really love how
his
Youpi
design
changes.
Every design I think I've seen of him was awesome.
The part when he like really changes is like fucking awesome.
Except one, but I'll get to that later. There's one thing I didn't like about the stuff. So they say he has a 700,000 aura, which could take a while. And
because he says like I think Knuckles says like this is like 10. Is it like 5 times, 10 times bigger than Morel? He can't even like read it. It's like that strong.
And then that's when the stairs get smashed, and the whole plan kind of gets thrown out again. And
because like they needed to run up to the throne room to confront the king.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, the Pito finds the king and Kamugi, and Chairman and Zeno find him as well, and.
This is when the time slows down.
I wrote big thigh Pito.
Yes. Pito does a thing where he like hyperextends his fucking muscles to make a big jump. So this is this is another thing I love, like, and the way Togashi illustrates it is great, because like Pito is falling and he's waiting for the moment that he can like jump back in the action. So the second he hits the ground, he like makes his muscles grow like 10 times their size, and then like launches himself like a cat. But then, as he's approaching, like, the king, and he feels, like, the horrifying, like, Nen of, what's-his-face, Netero and the king, and he's like, oh no, it's just, like, a minute ago, like, I'm stuck, I cannot stop myself.
This is what it feels like.
Yeah, I'm launching myself in this, but then, it's okay, everything's fine.
It's fine. But that's when, we see, this Kamugi get her stomach cut with the king, like, holding her, which is, like, really sad.
It's fucking sad.
And the king tells Pito to heal Kamugi, and causes Pito to cry.
Yes.
Which is crazy.
So, there's like so much happening here. Like, this is the thing where it's like, people who complain about the fact that there's a narrator, in the anime at least, like, there's so much fucking happening that you need the narrator to explain, like, everyone's inner monologue.
If it cuts to their monologue, it'd just be like so much stuff going on and like so fast that like you kind of need like to simplify it with like the narrator.
Yeah, exactly.
Because these are people like a lot of these royal guard are like experiencing a lot of these like emotions and thoughts for like the first time.
Exactly.
So you kind of need that knowledge. So yeah, and also the two old men are surprised as well, and they're gonna let Pito heal him. And the king says they want to fight him like on, I think it was like an airfield or a weapon test field.
Yeah, weapon testing site.
And
so the other thing here is like Zeno is like pissed.
Yeah, he says, you told me to order any civilians here, and I'm pretty sure that's why he leaves. I'm assuming because he got hit civilian, that kind of fuck with him.
It kind of seemed like it.
Or he just knew he was out of his league.
It actually, to me, it seems like Netero wouldn't have wanted him to stay around because his plan would have hurt Zeno, and he didn't want to hurt Zeno.
And he spent a lot of money on Zeno, as he said.
Yeah. So I think it's both things, but I think Zeno is going to leave anyway.
Well, also the moment when the king passes them and they both just feel like...
Yeah, it's like when time slows down and the king moves faster than they can... I'm not even joking. That's like what they literally say. Like, Zeno literally says this here, and he brings it up again. He says, like, time slowed down, and he, like, couldn't even see the king move.
I feel like it's also, like, a thing of, like, time slowing down, your life flashing before your eyes kind of thing.
That's how they bring it up. That's how they mention it in this.
It's more so that this horrific, like, murder intent or just power. It just makes you see... Like, that happened with Youpi and Knuckle, where Knuckle views that and just like, oh, wait, I'm seeing my life from my eyes. Oh, my God, no.
Yeah, I fucking love that scene.
So, yeah, so we find out that Shoot's leg's been crushed.
which is brutal.
Yeah.
It actually, I thought his leg, when I first saw it, I thought his leg was gone.
I thought it was just the skeleton, the bone there.
Yeah, it is fucked up.
So yeah, and Knuckle gets another hit because Knuckle's in stealth mode.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Shoot doesn't really. Also, like he's standing on his hands and everything. He does this technique where he covers up his eye because it looks cool.
This is the thing. This is where Shoot is like the coolest character ever. So he is like surpassing his own expectations of himself, and like no one anticipated Shoot to be able to do this. Like, yeah, and the fact that he like ties the bandana around his eye, and like this is another fan theory. I think it makes him better because the whole like
it's a confidence boost more so than anything, though.
Yeah, and it's a limiter. Like the whole thing with Nen is like the more limitations you put on your ability, the more powerful it is. So in this, he's like putting a limitation on himself, and it's making him better. And like it's
we'll never know, maybe.
I think it's like pretty. I think it makes a lot of sense. But
and then
also the way that he fights is so fucking badass.
So yeah, his whole fight style just I think he like takes like body parts away from you or something. Or
yeah, that's what he did to Killua when they fought.
Yeah. So,
if he can touch it, he can like send it to his little shadow box.
So also, moral death flag number 2 saying we are gonna get drinks after this is done. Like, man, you got to really put those death flags in there for your whole team.
But so another thing, I don't know if we were given enough attention. So like, the whole plan is that Knuckle cannot attack. Knuckle is not supposed to attack again because if he does, it's going to give away their whole like.
He's gonna learn
invisibility.
He has to blend it in with like a shoot thing. It's like a shoot attack. That's like what their whole thing is.
Yeah, so like seeing Shoot be completely destroyed and like fighting is like it's heart-wrenching because you see Knuckles like weeping, like he's like, I can't believe that I'm forced to watch my friend die. Like I didn't even like this guy before. I hated this motherfucker. Now I love him. He's like my best brother. I love that so much.
And then that's when Killua killed the 2 jobber ants to cover Calgo.
Yeah, so I think I might be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. There's a episode in the anime that is literally a whole episode where it's Killua deciding to go down a hallway, and it is often made fun of because it's like this is how silly, like this is how much time is condensed in this arc. Is that one whole episode is Killua like deciding whether to go down a hallway, and I think that might be it because basically it's like I can leave Gon alone and then. That could be bad, or if I don't help Calgo, then he's fucked. So
I liked it better. I mean, it's better than manga because just like he didn't even take time to think he knew how to go cover his friend and make it his life easier, even though leaving Gon for like a couple seconds. But
yeah, he does like it is not really an issue ultimately.
It's not,
but like you can see where his thought process is like. Leaving Gon alone in this like really volatile state could have been bad.
I mean, it would have been great if Wolfen didn't notice him, or notice Calgo / the jobber ants getting destroyed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when we get Gon approaches the throne room. We get Pouf versus Moral essentially being showed, and then the only time Gon sees the king.
Yeah. Right. Just like they're not even that close to each other.
He's not. He just like looks at him. He's running away. Only the king even looks at him. Just Gon looks at him, and Netero notices him and like tells him like in there.
It's just so funny to think like
is a main like even like this thing the king didn't feel like the main villain. If like Pouf was like the biggest villain in this entire arc, because like the king had like because the king didn't want to fight 90% of the time or like he just wanted to get Kamugi and like play shogi. He didn't really want to like.
He literally even says, "Yeah, like I'm not gonna fight you."
He doesn't
like,
want to eat humans, really.
Yeah,
like
he's like, it's so unfortunate because he's reached this point where he's like he's almost there. Like he's almost good.
Yeah. There's
parts of him that are still bad and wrong. Like he does say, "I do still want to commit genocide." He literally does say that. One of the things that I think will come up more, but I'd like to bring it up now, is this whole idea that the humans become more monstrous as this arc goes on, and the ants become more human.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that like think that the ants are right, like the ants are good.
Youpi grows a lot, and then he goes back.
Yes, he does kind of go back.
Like
he kind of does, but he kind of does. Like it's also very important.
That's why it pissed me off so much what happened with Youpi because of that. Because I wanted Youpi to have such a strong character development, and it kind of got shafted at the end.
Well, I'll make an argument later why I think that it's not in vain, but
And I know that he had it's a good reason, but still, like, the whole ending of him and Pouf, I think I'll get to that. But all right, so yeah, I guess if you
so wait, so before we go on, one thing I want to say is like, think about a lot of the ants, the royal guard character development as like supplemental character development for the king.
Yeah,
like that's because that's kind of what happened. Like,
I mean, even the king like, understands Youpi's like decisions. Like he's not upset with them
because they literally become one at the end.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that later.
As weird that is. So yeah, and then Zeno does Dragon Head, and then I think that's just him like just take the dragon away and everything and shoot. Takes a lot of damage. And we saw he only took an eye off of Youpi, and Knuckle watches in horror, like we said. And that's when we cut back to Kakago encountering Blaster and Cheeto. And with that little exchange, I just love seeing Kakago.
He just makes it's just like
he's the dragonfly. I read the dragonfly's name.
Flutter. Fluttershy.
No, shut up.
he makes a very fatal mistake by saying Hagya, right? Or he calls someone by the wrong name, or like an old name, and then that's what alerts Welfin, yeah, where he's like.
He called him Wolfin, but I think Welfin.
I know. I think I called him Wolfin last time, and then when I was reading, his name's Welfin.
I want to call him Blobster, but it was Bloster.
Blobster.
I want to call him Blobster, but it was Blaster.
But yeah, so this is like, it's one of those like super super tense moments where you're just like, no, they're fine. They're gonna fucking get him. They're gonna kill a Kalgo, my boy.
It takes a lot to take him out, but let's see. Mel has to take it's also the tension of every time Mel has to take a breath.
Which also, I love that the first time he takes a breath is 10 seconds in. Like, things were so fucking stressful.
If he had time to train with Moral, I'm just imagining how strong he would be. I'm hoping, if after this, he becomes, kind of like an apprentice to him, that'd be so good.
Uh-huh.
Because, that's, the perfect guy to train with, the guy with, the jet engine breath.
Also, I love that his ability is called God's Accomplice. That's, the coolest ability ever.
So, that's when Youpi notices everything, and did the back spikes attack on, it was on Shoot or Knuckle. I forget. He's using the back spikes.
It's a Shoot. He's still not really aware that Knuckle's there yet.
That something else is going on. But yeah, Shoot gets fucked, and then Knuckle reveals himself to Youpi because to save Shoot.
Yeah,
which is great. I love that reveal.
Which there's also a moment here where, Knuckle tries to, because Shoot is real fucked up. So Knuckle tries to run out and draw Youpi's attention, but Youpi doesn't move because he's still defending the king.
Yeah.
So he stays in front of the staircase because to him it's not about a fight. It's about protection.
Yeah.
Which is this is where where Youpi starts to change, and it very much becomes about the fight and him winning.
Yeah. Then we cut back to Moral and Pouf, where Moral said he can't breathe in the hypnotizing dust, which is one of many of Pouf's abilities that he has.
Yeah, Pouf has a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
Pouf becomes God tier near the end of this.
Yeah, he also uses his scales to read opponent's psychological state, and he's in a weird cocoon. I guess that's more of an illusion he can do now, or just
yeah. So yeah, where he starts to
he's in a cocoon, he can turn into an even bigger butterfly.
The opposite, actually.
So, yeah, spells little bugs and fly out, but. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Wolf is still tracking. The thing about Wolfin, we follow him a lot, and we get his his entire mindset of he's not making these decisions oh, I'm 100% accurate. He's it could be this. Blaster. He said Blaster could be a traitor too. And I don't know that. A lot of these decisions he makes tough decisions. He has to go one way or the other. It's choose your own adventure. And some of those as he stops chasing after a Calgo and just goes to find Bezef instead. It's kind of he has to make these calls, and it's interesting.
And it's so cool because I don't remember him having any focus before this arc.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just him and Blaster appear walking out or in or out of the castle, and you're okay, these are just going to be two minor villains that maybe if a Kago fights one and Mel fights the other one or something weird like that.
No, but yeah, Welfin becomes such a great character here.
Yes. So yeah, that's when. What's it called? Killua meets up with Zeno. He said he's leaving and says he has a tough call to make inside there.
Yeah.
I do love how his grandfather does see Killua and meets up with him, and I do like that.
It is really cool, and he literally says does he even say anything to him? I think he says that one line.
Yeah, he says you got a decision to make in there, he thought about like, okay, he doesn't have the needle out of his head anymore.
Yeah, I think a little later he mentions he mentions like, "Oh, your son's grown up now."
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he
which is it's so cool, but at the same time, it's like fuck the Zoldycks. They're so cruel.
They're terrible.
They're so mean.
Every one of them is terrible. Maybe except the youngest one. Even he joined essentially a terrorist group. Like,
well, the youngest one that you know.
Well, I thought there's a youngest. I know there's the one we didn't see.
There's one that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, the one that the other face, but looked like that was slightly older. It looked like it was taller than
yeah,
but,
yeah. They like showed a picture of that, but they like obscured.
Yeah, they were running away.
Yeah.
So okay, that's when Gon finds Pito, and Killua also knows Pito has no aura on themselves, and assuming that she's healing or he's healing, whatever. It's hard to, Pito is like the anime makes her it seem like we talked about this last episode. He's a female, and
it really threw me off because like when I watched the anime, I was like, oh, Pito's a she, and I can't remember if the subtitles gender Pito in a particular way or not, but.
Yeah, the manga says he, but the anime, the voice that they said feeling female, but it doesn't matter. They ended the same either way in a beaten into a forest. But
yeah, I mean the thing with the reason why I always get thrown off is like Pito is like very feminine looking,
yes,
and not in the way that like a boy like how in anime there's always boys that can look very feminine.
Yeah,
Pito doesn't really look like that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
and Pito also has like a very feminine figure, like. I'm gonna say she kind of has like chests. She has like a kind of a bigger chest and like a tinier waist.
Are you saying in the words of the Part 5 dub chesticles?
No, never. But yeah, whatever. So I don't think it's the end of the world. I'm probably gonna slip up and say she just because the anime kind of tricked me.
Just forgive us no matter which way you.
I guess but the thing that really is confusing is like some of the ants are female.
Yes,
but they shouldn't
like Hina
be.
was.
Yeah, like Hina,
the pregnant one.
Yeah, like technically, like I don't really know ants too much. Like I don't know when queens are born. I guess queens are the ones that eat the royal jelly, right? Or is that bees?
but then how Chimera ants get a queen then? If it's like because this one kind of just appeared.
Yeah. Well, okay, yeah.
And then there's just other this children ants just like, oh, I'm the queen now. But what makes you the next queen?
Because the ones that look like women talk about wanting to become queens, but like. Like, Pito doesn't ever seem to identify as a woman or want to be a queen, so...
And I'm pretty sure the queen gave birth to Chimera ants by just consuming, and then...
Yeah.
It was just...
Yeah, she didn't... Yeah, I never thought about that.
She had consumed, like, animals and humans, and then that would spew out the chimeras.
Yeah. It's almost like we shouldn't look into this too deeply.
The anatomy of Chimera ants.
The anatomy of the Chimera ants is not what Togashi wants us to focus on in this arc.
Just the stupid things like the nitpick.
I agree. I'm totally with you.
So this is a part where at the convention I remember is the episode I saw of the show with Gon's whole inner struggle with Pito healing Komugi.
Yeah.
So
this begins this crazy little thing where Gon is
it's the most tense thing between them.
And Gon here is like basically putting a human innocent woman at risk. He does not care. Which is like if you were to think about the character that Gon is, like, Gon is reckless, but he's not, like, malicious. And here he's acting maliciously.
He does this, like, non-stop with Komugi. Even after she's healed, it continues. Like,
he threatens to murder her.
Yes.
He literally plans to murder Komugi.
We're going to put her hostage, and we will murder her if you do not follow.
Yeah, that is how broken Gon has become.
Yeah, we get the Gon angry face, and,
one of many.
That's when like we get the Pito like put like, bowing and just like pleading.
So Pito bows down and puts his hands up.
Yeah,
the palms up, which is like the most ultimate display of like weakness and like what's the word, like subservience.
It's probably my favorite part. Is Gon freaks out saying like it's not fair.
This is another great thing.
When she says like I have to save her, and he asks, "What does saving mean to you?" And I'm just like, damn.
Yeah. Gon here, like, because it's hard to be mad at Gon because
he has like I said before, like Kite is like the closest thing he had to a father figure. Even though the what's it called? Was it the anime didn't show Kite, or was it the manga didn't show Kite in the beginning?
The anime didn't show Kite at the beginning. The anime showed Kite at the beginning of this arc.
Yeah, which is like this is like supposed to be this is the one person he knows growing up, and like this is like his person, his senpai.
It's basically, like, Kite is really his father figure.
Yeah.
Like, Kite is the character that gave Gon, like, the inspiration to even become a hunter. Like,
yeah.
I mean, obviously he's looking for Jing, but...
Still. And yeah, she said the girls are someone precious to the king, and then, Gon has this internal conflict of, like, this is an innocent girl, but I need to murder you.
Yeah. Just, like, I think this is so fascinating because, like, think about, like, any other, like, anime, like, shonen anime. Like, when would there ever be a conflict where the main character is not able to... Like, there's never a scene in Dragon Ball like this, where, like, Goku can't fight Cell, or Goku is being made to be the villain by wanting to fight Cell at a time when he shouldn't
Dragon
be.
Ball Super, Goku's the villain because he puts everyone in the universe at risk because he wants to fight and get stronger.
Well, that's an oversight.
Oh, another thing, because he said Gon only saw the king once.
Uh-huh.
The only time I've ever seen that before is I don't think Goku ever met Android 17 until after Cell Saga was done.
Oh, that's funny.
He never met the androids.
That is kind of funny.
I don't think he didn't meet 18, 17, or 16. I don't think.
Yeah, I guess he didn't, because he was dead, right?
Maybe 16, because that's when he got rebuilt, but, like, 17 and 18 both got absorbed before he, like, came back.
From the hyperbolic mind chamber, whatever. Okay.
I thought that, like, that's, like, the only other case I can think of, like, that actually happening.
I just think it's really cool that, like, Gon here, like, I just can't think of a time where, like, the main character is kind of being a bad guy, like... by wanting to kill, like, this human girl.
It's not like he's losing control of his dark side, or just, like, this is, like, internal conflict he's having. Like, not like he's, like, snapping from this thing.
And it, like, to be fair to Gon, like, this isn't fair. Like, he should be able...
do you count Goku snapping at Frieza when Frieza killed Krillin?
No, because that's just, like, a standard,
I didn't know. In Dragon Ball... that's a spoiler for Dragon Ball, though. I don't want to say...
No, don't say it.
Okay. There is a moment where Goku kind of snaps a little bit, too.
But, like, no, but that's different. Like, the conflict that here I'm talking about is, like, it's never, like... It's always easier than this. Like, it's always, like, okay, well, Frieza kills Krillin, so it gives Goku an excuse to, like, power up. Here, it's... Gon, like, cannot fight this character because the character is doing something, like, objectively good. Like, she is helping... He is helping Komugi not die. Which is something that the good guys did. That is the fault of the good guys. The reason why Komugi's even, like, on death's door. Yeah,
because they didn't, like, put into play the third party.
And, like, yeah, I just think it's kind of crazy. Like, in no other, like, shonen anime can I think of is the main character being halted at fighting for, like, such a really, like, deep reason.
But it's more tense in a fight, though. Because, Killua tells Gon to wait. Gon freaks out, and then, saying you can't trust Pito. And Pito breaks his arm, and then he said, I will also break my legs or snap my legs off if you just let me do this.
To show how fucking much he loves the king, and how much he'll do whatever the king says.
And Gon cries, is it not fair after what he did to Kite and everything? And he charges Rock, but Killua calms him down.
Yeah.
And he says, I will wait 1 hour to stabilize her, then you will go and heal Kite. And he just sits there and stares. And just like he doesn't even budge from that, other than like maybe once he turns his head to Pouf. No, he doesn't.
He never does.
Never turns his head off. Yeah.
Yeah. He like. Oh, it's so good. We'll get there when we get there. But like, yeah, Gon is just. He's gone at this point. Gon is gone.
Gone in 60 seconds.
His mind is gone.
So, then we come back to Mel running from the fight and sees Welfin and has to hold his breath in, but Welfin uses... Guess we first use of Welfin's ability?
Missile Man.
Egg on your face, Missile Man, it's called.
I love that it's called Missile Man.
And so it can choose a target. 2 bullets are loaded with an order or a question. If the target lies or defies, it will attack. No one's ever survived it, what they say.
Yeah.
Which I was so disappointed. I thought he killed Pouf at the end, which I'll get there. Pouf, Youpi, yeah.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, Welfin questions himself. He's a whole questioning himself also because he didn't find anyone there, and like, what am I doing? All that stuff. And Mel finds Killua, and then Killua basically gets convinced to go back and help Knuckle and shoot. And Knuckle's in the air dodging. There's some backstory for Knuckle while this is happening, where he once punched a cop and ran all day when he was in 5th grade.
I love that.
Or grade school.
Yeah, he punched a cop. I think he graduated 5th grade that day.
Yeah. So yeah, Youpi disappears. It enrages Knuckle for thinking that he's lesser than
So this is one of the big cry moments for me, where it's like, like Shoot is literally, I think the narration explains like this. So Shoot does something he's never done before by like balancing his whole body on one of his hands and is like fighting at the best of his capabilities. Like he's literally like found his like signature technique, and he fights so hard and then ends up losing basically. And Youpi doesn't even look at him. Youpi doesn't even fucking turn around.
Nope.
And that is like so offensive.
But he's thinking of this like when he's walking out with Shoot, and he just like can't walk away from. He does an insult. He can't walk away from an insult, and he just drops Shoot and he said, "Sorry, man, I gotta go do this."
Yeah, but I love that Shoot's like, "Give him a fucking big punch for me," and then
he finds Youpi though. Knuckle goes out and finds Youpi,
which also is a hilarious joke. Like a chapter later where he like. When Youpi goes crazy, Knuckle like runs back inside and Shoot's like, "Did you give him a punch for me yet?" He's like, "Not yet. I'm still running."
Nice little touch. And that's when Youpi transforms again. He gets big muscles, gets like a big blob, and that's his first explosion.
That one panel where he like...
It's like a bunch of faces, it looks like.
Well, yes, that one, but also before that, when he like hyperextends his arms for the first time and makes them like massive and slams a big crater down, is so fucking cool. And yeah, when he also when the faces start happening is like...
Like we said, I think this is like these are a lot of Nen, so I'm assuming this is like an emitter thing of just a rage explosion. He can able to control, so it's not really a rage. It's more,
initially it's a rage.
It's an emotional rage, but then he's able to control it once he gets his like emotions up, and you try to use that fake rage as like a decoy,
which is like the coolest thing ever.
Like a villain like learning like, oh, this easy like small brain thing I'm doing it can be used against them. Like,
Yeah,
it's so interesting. You never see those like muscle head guys really think like use like that, which I love.
Oh, so yeah, Youpi is so like fantastic in this arc.
So yeah, then that's where Cheetu runs to Zeno. He wants to fight him.
Hilarious.
So yeah, this would be there. Zeno said he killed an innocent. He almost killed. He could have killed an innocent today. So he's really sad and like kind of annoyed.
He even says like, this is the first time since the family business passed to him that this has happened. So Zeno has like been very good at only killing the people he's paid to kill, I guess.
It probably like voided out the contract or whatever. That's what I want to say, or just like I'm not doing it.
I mean, like if you think about it, the greatest assassin in the world would not want to have collateral damage. Like that's something that like they shouldn't have. Like that should be something that they never do.
They don't want a reputation of the family being sloppy.
And that's something that happens today because he was given bad info.
Well, luckily there's no witnesses to that. So yeah, and then that's when Cheetu gets nuked by like his dad, Killua's dad arriving.
Yes, which is so fucking funny.
So
it is like a crater. Like he makes a crater of Cheetu.
Do you think that's a great payout to Cheetu? Or did you want when you first read it? Did you want Cheetu to actually have like an actual like last fight with Moral or something?
Not really. I felt like that's the kind of thing. It kind of feels like tying up a little bit of like a loose end here, where it's like Cheetu has always just kind of been like a joke character, like. Or not a joke character, but he's like the current threat has surpassed Cheetu in a way that he doesn't need to be around for. I loved it. I thought it was a great little like joke.
I could have guessed that it would have been like this is how Killua's Godspeed will be shown off against Cheetu. Yeah.
Oh, that was a really smart idea. Actually, it's funny they didn't do that.
Yeah.
No, I just like that they give they just kind of give Cheetu the perfect end to his character arc, which is he's so like stupid, and he's so inept that he doesn't even anticipate.
He can't read his opponent.
Yeah,
especially because like anyone could probably read the Nen off of of his grandfather and just like maybe I shouldn't fuck with this guy. But, like I want to trust in my ability. I got a new one. And that's so
he's all flash, no like hard work, and like he's just given his ability too. It's not like he's learning his Nen and like
he just gets one.
Yeah,
so
he's a little entitled.
Yeah, then we come back to Moral with like the bugs sneaking out of the smoke world, or I forget the name of the ability. The whole smoke.
It's like the smoke cage. I can't remember the name.
You know what I'm talking about, but
yeah, he makes like the cage of smoke around Pouf so that he doesn't get out.
Yeah, and then we cut back to Akago, who's driving the truck with Blaster following him, and they basically I'm going to confront him. There's no way around it, and. That's why Knuckle finds Nen writing with Palm saying, assume that she's dead if I'm not here. And then Blaster blasts his disguise later after they have their encounter.
Which I love that panel of Blaster just like unloading on the truck looks so fucking cool.
Just has like his claw gun.
Yeah, he's got claw guns.
His claw lasers are...
Yeah, so the thing here that I think is interesting is like we get this whole idea set up of What's the guy's name? The human that like works with the ants.
Biza?
Yeah, Bezef. So Bezef has like basically these girls. Like he just has like women basically sex slaves.
Yeah, they're secretary sex slaves.
Yes, that are sent to him to like they don't even know it's really fucked up like their whole condition. But they're kept in this like underground neighborhood bunker.
It's like a weird like.
It is. It's like a neighborhood underground. Like it's because they're under. They take like the elevator to go down, and yeah, it's like crazy.
It reminds me of like a fake neighborhood that they would test like nukes, like Nuketown kind of thing. Like
yeah,
like it reminds me of one of those fake neighborhoods or just like a utopia kind. Like
it's like idealized. Sort of thing. Yeah, and they do go over the whole idea of it being like. They sow the seeds of this being like a location that we're gonna see later.
Yeah.
Which is like important.
Much later.
Yeah, we see it a couple times. It like kind of comes up a couple times, but basically just more proof that Bezef is
not great,
horrible.
Even he gets out though. To go on a fun Chimera Ant road trip
to Meteor City. I actually forgot that he gets out.
For some reason.
It's fucked up.
So yeah, then Knuckle needs to get him to explode again soon for shoot to get his numbers up. So yeah, Youpi's faking his raid. Knuckle goes in while he's inflating.
So yeah, this is like one of the other great moments.
But Knuckle's about to be killed. Killua comes in to assist him. And Knuckle gets a good punch on Youpi.
So yeah, this is like the coolest shit ever. He gets more than a good punch. He gets like a whole fucking barrage. So we have this like this amazing scene where Knuckle like thinks he's gonna like outsmart Youpi, but he gets double outsmarted. And this is where like he says the whole thing where it's like time is like slowing down for him. It's like
I'm seeing my life flash before my eyes. Oh no.
Yeah, he literally says like I think within the last like 0.5 seconds I said like 120 words. Like that's not normal, is it? And then he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die. And then the only thing that is possibly quicker than him, which is lightning, comes, and like this is where we fucking see Godspeed.
Yes, he approaches with eyes of death. I wrote.
This is like for me. This is one of the most hype moments.
And then Knuckle goes to shoot while Killua is like about to do Godspeed on him, which his hair becomes electricity, electrifies his whole body, transcends human speed. Has two core functions: speed of lightning and whirlwind, which is the body reactions.
Which is what he did in the darts fight,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's how he got the stop the fish.
So it's so fucking cool. This is just so fucking cool to me. Like I just love this so much. Like Killua just getting like this one moment against Youpi, because like the thing about this whole like arc that you keep seeing is it's not about winning fights. It's just about surviving as long as you possibly can
until something something happens.
Yeah, because basically their early plan.
This one is more so just surviving until the interest can go up to the number.
Yeah, which it ends up being by the
end it gets to like 600.
Yeah, 600,000.
Yeah,
which is like crazy, and I love how big the baby gets too. Like it inflates, but seeing the like just. Having Killua get a few hits on Youpi, even though it's not like it doesn't seem like a big moment, it is so great with like the whole build-up of like the Knuckle almost dying and Killua being able to save, and then just having this beatdown on Youpi is just so fucking satisfying.
Youpi even says it's his first real struggle.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Godspeed wears off very quick though.
Which is like, it's terrifying, because you're just like, Killua's gonna die now.
Well, he just runs. But yeah, and Knuckle find that Shoot's gone. And Moral's still deciding what to do, and because at the time you come back to Moral's like, shit, I need to figure out. I need my big brain right now.
Yeah.
So after that, we go to Calgo, deciding what to do. And he says he needs to kill, probably gonna need to kill Blaster, but he's never killed before. And then Blaster.
That was like a shock to me. Like, I remember when I first reached that, I was like,
you try to snipe Killua.
Yeah, like it seemed weird, because then we learned that all of the bodies that he's inhabited, because that's his abilities, he can like jump in a body and control it. He never did the killing. Like he was always, I guess the dead body was provided for him, which is weird.
And guess the other three, the sniper arm guy is like his body. So I mean, you only see him ever in two bodies, so that's
true.
And then Blaster just blows through doors, and Kago tries to trap and gas him. It's like his whole strategy is just like, I need to get him gassed, because don't do the scan in the elevator, it like a couple tries, it'll just gas you.
Yeah.
So,
this whole like HxH bit is really interesting, like logistics and like HxH is like a MacGyvering a lot of things.
Yeah, Blaster saw a lot of traps and he knows someone's in there. And then as HxH crafts, he has to go bottle of whiskey and everything, and then he has the tank.
Yeah, so I love this too. Like he makes like a makeshift like air ventilation system for himself so that he can like survive in the gas chain, like with all the gas filling the room.
There's a giant inhale, and his head just grows also, like,
which I love HxH.
Also, Blaster thinks there are 3 people. Like, he doesn't understand, he doesn't know the situation completely too, which is cool because like he thinks there's more numbers than there are, and not just one little octopus boy. That's
one of those elements I really love, like a detail, because normally in a movie when the bad guy figures a plan out,
everybody assumes it's 1v1.
Yeah, or like the bad guy will figure the plan out like instantly when it doesn't make sense for the bad guy to always be able to know every single thing, right?
That's what the cool thing with Welfin is too. Like, he doesn't understand the plan 100% either. He's just trying to piece it together, but takes just 2 passing and take, and he takes the wrong one for that one, but still. And then, let's see. And then, he forces a showdown. And then Blaster versus Tank. And he manages to, HxH manages to block the escape route with the tank. And he burns the tank and holds his breath. And, what is it? I lost track. What? Give me. Alright. And then the gas hits Blaster, but he can't kill him, though, even though he had, like...
He could have done it. He, like, went up to him. He found a spot that wasn't, like, armored by his, like, weird lobster armor. And he couldn't fucking do it.
Couldn't do it, and he just crawls under the door and just leaves Blaster there sleeping. For feels like forever.
Which this is another one of those like big moments where it's like, oh, the ants are becoming more human. Like HxH's whole thing here is like he thinks he's a coward because he can't kill, like he can't take a life, but in actuality he's like being so virtuous by not killing Blaster, because we see Blaster's reformed at the end. Like Blaster's able to integrate into society.
I mean, even HxH, he probably remembers his previous life the most out of everyone we've seen so far.
Yeah, and he doesn't quite mention that just yet. Like,
we'll get there.
Yeah,
but he's he comes like the most memorable one. I think Welfin's close there too, but and then all right, Moral turns off the smoke and figures out Pouf's plan. And Pouf knew he would take 15 minutes, but thought he was going to take like 15 minutes, but he was wrong. And then that's when he divides into superfine particles, and chibi poofs everywhere. Which I had not too big on chibi poofs.
Really?
Chibi poofs and chibi Youpi. I said chibi Youpi, but
I think chibi poof works a lot because it takes Pouf, who is like...
I do like there's a core one that you had to get rid of, but that never comes really into play, even though they talk about it a lot.
Well, they never like are able to kill the core, but the core, the fact that the core is like an entity is like something they bring up a lot, and like that's like it's important where the core is, and like
his main body is like a shell and everything. And it's interesting. Pouf has a lot of powers.
Yeah, I think I like it because it gives Pouf like the power to do a lot in this arc, and like his whole thing isn't really, he's not like a 1v1 kind of character. He's really conniving.
He's an annoying character.
And having him be able to like orchestrate all these plans in the background, and like he kind of counters Palm too. Palm's ability.
We'll also learn that he can also shapeshift in that and imitate voices, and
he's like very much learning a lot of abilities. Like it's a classic like shonen thing where it's like during like times of stress, like your abilities develop and you get more and more.
And then Moral summons smoke troopers. The Poofs can just divide and reassemble like non-stop, and then just runs away. And Moral chases him, but gets his pipe taken away by Pouf, and so he only has 89 smoke troopers to get them managed. I thought that was really cool that he has a limited number of what he can do, and then he's useless.
It's one of those moments where you're just like, damn, this guy doesn't have like a vape pen or anything. Like he can't
back up, or it's a pack of cigarettes. I mean, he probably could have got a bunch of cigarettes from Mel if he found them.
Oh, true.
Like, he stopped smoking before the invasion. He's probably still had him on him.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. But I think part of it though is not like the fact that he could just use any smoke. It's like I think it's like kind of tied into like a Nen restriction where he can only make smoke from like this specific pipe.
The pipe that Nav summons.
Yeah, the pipe that's like super fucking big. It's like He probably enchants it or whatever. I don't know.
Who knows? Nens a thing.
But this is like, it's also just great because it really puts all their backs against the wall. It's not like now Morel, who's like, or Morel, the guy who you think is like the strongest there, now he's like got such a finite number of like little shadow ninjas. I think isn't it called Deep Purple? I think it's called Deep Purple.
Deep Smoke or Deep Purple, something like that. And so only 89 of them. He encounters Youpi, and Knuckle arrives too. So they're gonna support each other in the fight. And then Youpi will let him hit him to kill him. I think that's like one of them go get a free hit on him.
Yeah, Youpi, so like that's the thing where Youpi like knows that they're all like shadow like smoke clones, so he's like, well, I'm like developing so much power here. I know I'll kill you, but you can get your one hit on me, like it doesn't matter.
So then we come back to Hina, the exorcist, and because she leaves, her stomach deflates since she too died. And she encounters Bezef under rubble, and he promises anything to help him, and she saves him.
Yeah, I think she says that...
She's like, I'm not that strong. Like, please, I'll give you anything you wish for. And she goes with one arm and throws the block away. And
Does she say what she wants?
I don't think she's...
Does she just, like, want, like,
She wants to be queen, and then I think he mentions the treasure room and everything. To go down to get the treasure. Just standard stuff you want to... like, standard stuff.
It's just weird. Hina just feels like such an outlier character here.
It's I'm not sure if anything to go into those characters yet with the whole gyro thing, but
we'll see.
Maybe. So yeah, and then Mortal makes Smoke Soldier look like Knuckles, and trying to fool him. This is a lot of like, you got ya, like I know he's you, like no, it's not him, and it's a lot of the trickery like that.
I really love how he makes one of them seem like the real Knuckle by like making it like really aggressive, and then he goes in for the punch, and Youpi's so sure that it's him that he focuses on that one.
He actually inflates to get the explosion on him, and then it's not him, and then
the real one comes out of nowhere and punches him, which I love. Okay, but so here's one moment that I like love, and I didn't pick up on it before, and they even give it like a little like one panel flashback. So Knuckle is like kind of lost in rage here.
Yes.
Like he doesn't really know how to control himself, and that's why he's being so aggressive when he should really, according to the plan, he should hang back and let the interest just accrue. Mm-hmm. But there's a little flashback scene where, and this is why Knuckles able to like take the hit. He make the hit because he's thinking more tactically. Morel explains, this is like a flashback. He's like, if you ever get too hot-headed, I'm gonna make all of the smoke clones look as stupid, angry as you are. So that's like a little note to you. If you ever see the smoke clones are stupid fucking angry, that means that you're too angry and you need to chill because you're gonna make a big mistake.
It's cool that he can still control like and shapeshift the soldiers.
Yeah.
Without his pipe.
So I love that it's like, it's a way, if here we're Morel is not only using it like cleverly, so it's like a bunch of like tricky clones for Youpi to fight, but he's also like calming Knuckle down by like a technique that they use together.
So then we get Pouf looking for the king. So his chibis are called Beelzebub. They can be nano size, and his core but it has to be B size.
Yeah, he calls himself Beelzebub, the king of flies.
So all
my Helltaker fans will get that reference.
Sure.
Or my Helltaker friends, not
your fans. Made it. I made it.
I'm the Helltaker's creator.
I made it.
Yeah. all my fellow Helltaker fans. That's what I meant to say.
So he also decided not to help
Beelzebub.
He gets sight of everything. The human they captured is soon to hatch, and then
so we know who that is.
Yeah, we know who that is now. And then he doesn't decide to help Youpi at all. He's the opposite of moral, essentially. What they say of like, he's not going to help his allies in like help with their weakness.
Who Youpi is? Wait, sorry.
Pouf is the opposite of.
Oh yes.
Of moral, essentially. So yeah, then we get shoots and surgery, which would be and I assume is Nav getting him out of there and back into a hospital room that he has inside his little mansion.
And we do see Nav show up later with his little hat on
and freaking out. So.
Yeah. I love that little joke or gag where he's like shaking and shivering and like he can't even handle being there.
So yeah, then we see Welfin sees the Bezef group as well, and then Killua returns to Gone. Mel is back with Knuckle, and Killua is charging in an outlet.
Yeah, I love that.
But I'm wondering, like, did he have to put another outlet? Can he get, if he had the taser, remember he used the taser to get his ability,
Yeah.
lightning. Can he just bring another taser and just keep, like, shocking himself to charge it back up?
I would assume that there's probably not enough battery in, like, a taser.
Could he just have batteries and just...
Late game Killua just carries battery. Like, he has a whole battery suit that he wears.
Stun gun.
I think, because, like, he seems to be charging for a very long time, so I think that he's, like... It's like when your phone's on, like, 1%. I mean, it doesn't charge instantly. Like, you need a lot of energy.
So, and this would get Pouf entering the room with Gon and Pita, though, and Gon just tells him to shut up, which I love.
This is the other thing, too, is, like, Pouf tried to sneak up and kill... Gon. But, yeah, Pito...
says, no, do not do that.
Yeah, Pito is, like, so... Because Pito is really so, like... Even though Pito doesn't like Komugi and knows Komugi's bad, he will still protect Komugi because that's what the king wants.
Yeah. The other one disobey the king.
I know, like, he even... It's kind of, like, really frustrating from his point of view because Pouf is acting in all these ways that is, like... In Pouf's mind, he's like, oh, well, Komugi should die anyway, so I don't need to be safe around her. But Pito is like, no, you're gonna get her killed, you idiot. You can't just be reckless like this.
If I stop my surgery or, like, you make a move, he will kill her.
Yeah.
Like...
It's just... This is where I think we see that Pouf is just, like, really an asshole. Like, Pouf is, like, a bad guy.
Yeah, and God tells Pouf that he not to move because he manipulates people. He's obviously a manipulator.
Yeah.
Peter says, just listen to what the kid says. It's just like, I just love it. Anything with this Gon in the room is super good. So he wants to know the story of what happened, and as well, he asks him, like, yeah, tell me the situation.
Yeah, like, why isn't the king here? And this is, like, there's this, like, little undercurrent of misunderstandings that Pito has about Gon that makes Pito more terrified of Gon. So the one thing here is, like, Pito is Pito. It sounds like Pito, like pedophile.
Pita bread,
like pita bread, like Pita Griffin. So Pito is trying to show Pouf where the king went. So he tells, like, the story very cryptically, and then he points to the south, and then that tells what's his face Pouf where the king is, and then he does his whole plan. But then it's funny, like, later on, Gon knows that the king is to the south.
Yeah,
and Pito thinks that it's because Gon saw through his lie, but really it's just Gon picking up on a different detail, like.
He probably saw the way they were, like, walking away because he's outside and saw them leaving.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. But I love that, like, Pito is fucking terrified of Gon here. And Pito really thinks that Gon is, like, a mastermind, tactical genius. When really he's just, like, a heartbroken child.
Yeah. So, yeah, Youpi's at 500,000 now, and he rages and transforms into the centaur called Rage Incarnate.
This is so fucking cool.
I love the design of the centaur look.
The big, like, face on his arm is, like, so creepy.
It's great.
It kind of reminds me of the former leader of East Gordo, who's dead now, that fat, like, Kim Jong-un looking character.
It could be.
I think that it might kind of be, like, a little... It just looks... This is what I was saying earlier with, like, the art in this arc is so emotionally, like, impactful, and, like, it is, like, the gore and the body horror is, like, particularly powerful too, I think.
So yeah, he's learned to direct his rage, but it's causing him to use a lot of Nen. Like, he's at, like, 60k. Sorry, anyway, it was 50k and now it's at 60k. So King and Chairman, they reach the test site, and then he asks, like, why they're fighting, and says, he's useless. You're not gonna win. Like, the king believes there are some humans that deserve to live, and Komugi is one of them, and thinks the chairman might be another one if he stands down, but the chairman ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, and so, yeah, there's a lot here.
Like, this is the growth of the king, the saying, like, there are humans that are, like, worse to keep alive. Like, they aren't just food. They can be, like, useful or, like...
And the fact that he's not using violence here, the king is, like...
He wants to talk for, like, this fight for the most part, until, the chairman throws the name thing in there. Like, he doesn't want to fight at all. He just wants to talk, and, like...
And the only way he's able to do it is to basically make a game out of it. Because that's, like... That's the one thing with Meruem is, like, he can't help but play games. Like,
he
games
wants to be
are,
the
like,
best of the game.
Yeah, games are everything to him, which is really funny.
So yeah, before that happened, Pito explains what happened. Except he didn't talk about the king and Komugi though. Pouf learned the location, like you said, and sends a small corps towards the king. The king wants to destroy all the borders, wants to protect the weak, never oppress the people, or oppress defeat it. He will not fight in this when he sits, and then that's when the chairman uses 100 type, the 100 type first hand.
Bodhisattva.
Guanyin Budapesta.
Bodhisattva. There's a Steely Dan song called Bodhisattva.
I believe it. And then come back. Mortal's down to 10 clones. He's getting tired and he can't even move. And Youpi approaches him, calls them all amazing, and he swings for the killing blow. And then it cuts away.
Okay, wait. Before we talk about that, so I want to go back to the king really quick. So this is the thing where like people always say like the consensus about the arc is like, oh, well, like...
What is the consensus for the arc, usually?
Okay, so yeah, people love it.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Most of the time, it's everyone's favorite arc. It's most people's favorite. There are some people who are, like, kind of are outliers, where... But it's like, if you don't like Chimera Ant the most, it's either Greed Island or York New.
Okay.
It's like, those are the big three, really. And most of the time, it's like Greed Island. I feel like the reason why people like Greed Island are very different from, like, why people would like Chimera Ant.
I'm surprised people like Greed Island second. I thought it was good, but I felt like I enjoy York New a lot more, just like how the tone it's set.
That's how I was on my first go through when I watched the anime, but I like really love Greed Island now. Greed Island is fucking it's real good. I love all like the complexity to it and like all the cards and shit.
Yeah.
But so the one of the like thematically consensus is like the whole idea of like the ants becoming more human and like how it's like, okay, the ants are like good guys. This is kind of like my one issue with that is like Merowyn talks about, and maybe I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but Merowyn talks about how like he wants to create a better world than the current one. He talks about how like horrible humans are. Humans have created like terrible things, and like under his rule, the world would be equal. There would be no borders. There would basically just be like there'd be no disparity. Mm-hmm. But he literally says like, I would probably need to kill everyone first.
Kill all those bad people first.
So yeah, he's like, he would definitely commit a big genocide, but it's for the greater good, dude. It's for the greater good, bro.
There's a few 100 million people or billion people, man. We gotta kill them all.
If we gotta save 1 billion to kill 6,
he's making the mother of omelets. Can't fret over every egg.
Basically.
So
yeah. So you can keep going.
So yeah. So
also, sorry, the whole Youpi thing, like. Once he, like, gains that appreciation, like, he's been driven to, like, a new state. Like, he's gained an ego, basically. Like,
yeah.
He now has respect for his enemies.
So, yeah, Moral's gone. He drew blood, though. It was a deep wound because he's having a lot of blood on his little, like, spear.
Yeah, the other thing is, that Youpi says that I think is, like, a great line is, like, you've basically earned my respect. Like, you're a great fighter. I will give you the best death possible, which is a quick, merciful one. Like, so, I mean, it's still fucked up, but Youpi is, like, totally a different person from how he was, like, literally 10 seconds ago.
He's a warrior. He's an honorable warrior now.
Yeah. I think at this point we're, like, 10 minutes into the arc. I think that's how, because there's a little counter
at
the bottom.
I didn't keep track of the timer, sadly, though. So yeah, Mel's the one that grabs Moral, and... What's it called? But they leave a trail of blood. So Knuckle returns to save them, and he wants them to let him go. But Youpi says no, and Youpi says, "You get this interest gone." He'll let. But Mel lets Moral go before Knuckle can decide, because Knuckle's gonna need to say yes no matter what for that.
Yeah.
And
so okay, this is the thing where it's like this is like Knuckle like putting everything on the line to save Morel. So it's just like how Morel was able to like bring Knuckle back from like his rage earlier by using his ability. This is like the reverse. This is like Knuckle, because Morel is totally ready to die. Like Morel is like, I need to die here.
Even Mel didn't think about the plan of just dropping him just to run away. Like he just kind of did it on a whim, just like to get him to talk sense into Knuckle, because he knows how much of a threat this is.
Yeah, cause everyone's on the page of okay, yeah, Morel needs to die right now. Even Morel's like ready to die, and he even he's like screaming at Knuckle like, don't you dare break your interest, we're almost gonna win.
And then but Knuckle turns it off. Youpi leaves, spares them, and that's the end of that.
This is a scene in the anime that's done like really well.
I was like, this is not what I expected to go. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen now.
So yeah, this is like a crazy scene that the anime did like maybe better than the manga, because you see the baby, like the dead interest baby, and it explodes like in slow motion. So, because you don't know, like, if you're me and you're watching it for the first time, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, is Morel going to die? Are they going to make the sacrifice? And then it just, like, it implodes, and you're just like, no, like, this was, like, what they've been working for. This is what, like, Shoot almost died for. This is, like, what Killua risked his life for.
Use his signature move now, like, just on him so he could, like, help him. Yeah. It's crazy, though. Like, I was like, this is a play, like, I don't know how it's gonna end.
Yeah, because that was, like, the big thing. It was like, okay, well, if they can get one down, it's like, okay, then they'll be able to, like, team up with each other, fight the other ones, but it's like,
you read so much into it, okay, they gotta take out the three, like, peons, like, and then you gotta work through the main villain, and then it just doesn't do that.
It does not do that at all.
Only one of the Royal Guard gets curb stomped. It's not even a freaking fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Morel tells Mel and Knuckle to keep fighting while they go basically get healed because Nob returns.
Yeah, and so, yeah, the big thing here is Youpi just says, like, bye.
The other thing, Knuckle says he doesn't see Youpi as something to exterminate anymore.
Yes.
Because he sees him as a person.
Yeah, he's gained that, like, mutual respect. Because
that warrior respect.
By getting rid of his interest, Youpi is like, I don't need to kill you. Like, my goal is to protect the king.
You let me get back to the king.
Yeah. He said, like, okay, that obstacle is out of my way. I don't need to kill you. You guys don't deserve to die. And then there's almost this idea of, like, oh, we'll fight again one day. Like, and which is, like, a very classic shonen thing, but it is so... After this, like, life... Like, when you are convinced that Morel is going to die here, it feels so good for him to just, like, be like, yes, like, this is now a rivalry. Like,
yeah.
There's no, like, bad blood between us.
Which is why I'm pissed for what happens to Youpi.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll get there.
I know. We've been saying that, like, the catchphrase so far for this one. I think we'll get there. So, yeah, Nob returns, he takes Morel away, and then Mel and Knuckle go looking for the other guard. Pouf and Youpi meet up, tells them everything going on, and they're going to the king. The king tanks the hit and still wants to talk. He tanks a third hand. It pisses off the chairman and asks if he wants to know his name, and that's when, he said the fight game happens. And he does 99 hands, and
which, that is so cool. He just, like, basically, like, auras him into the ground.
And then...
deep into the fucking weapon testing.
The chairman thinks, like, he always dreamed of an unstoppable enemy, and he basically punched him into, like, that little, like, underground grave. Like, this is gonna be a grave for you.
Yeah.
So... Ooh, that little page turn. So the king can barely follow all the after images and commends the chairman for transcending through just effort alone. And then
we start to get a little bit more flashbacks of the chairman.
Yeah, the training and everything.
And which is, like, the whole thing that they create here, because they already bring up the idea of the chairman being, like, he transcended, like, every other martial artist, but he also, this one thing that I love is, like, he's like, when did I start waiting for my opponent to make the first move?
Yeah.
And then this is, like, the opposite. Like, he's the one that has to instigate now. And, like, it also shows, like, oh, he's kind of becoming bad. Like, there's a aggression to him.
And like we said, the king is like dodging attacks and comparing it to, what's it called? Gungi. And then, the chairman said he will show Zero Hand.
The Zero Hands.
But we didn't show us yet, but he's about to show it. But
I love
that's
the fucking tease for that.
We cut to the human hatching from the egg, and Killua is fully charged, but he finds Palm, and she's altered. Where she's like a weird kind of ant hybrid, though, because she's like...
She's an ant. She's just an ant.
She's just an ant, but... What do you think I like how they combined her crystal ball into her head, though. Yeah,
I think that's super cool. And also, it makes sense, because she had, like, a little mermaid... So she's basically like she has, like, scales now, like a water scales.
She got out pretty good for this. She's more human than she is the ant. She doesn't have the ant legs. She just has, like, scales going up and down her arms and legs that she can kind of get out of just being kind of blended. Other than the giant thing in her forehead, like. So
this is where, like, I love Palm.
Like, Palm.
This is where, like, Palm becomes, like, one of my favorite characters in this arc, because, like, the one thing that I really love too is, like, they picked the perfect character for her to interact with. Yeah.
She's not, and she stopped being kind of like the one track, just being the scary murder lady. That she goes a little bit in that, but she's not. That's not the entire thing of her just being a laugh because she's like crazy girl. She has a character in being normal for the most part. So
the thing with Palm, and, like, I don't know why, but I really latched onto that when I was reading it for the first time. I really latched onto this element where, like, Killua is very cruel to Palm, when he first meets her, he hates her because she's weird and she's a freak.
She's weird. She creeps on Gon.
Yeah, she creeps on Gon. And he's mean to her consistently. And then well,
to be fair, Killua is mean to every woman.
Killua hates women. Yeah. Killua is a bit of a fucking
incel.
Yeah, he's a bit of an incel. But so he's so mean to her, and then his first reaction when meeting her again is to not trust her, and also is mean to her. But also, so the other thing we see. Palm, when Palm is happy and when Gon is nice to Palm, she becomes a good person. Yeah. And she's all pretty. Well, and she's nice and kind.
The one thing Killua says is Gon will freak if he sees her like this. Yeah. And so he has to test her. He talks to her. She does remember them, which I'm
Yeah, which is good. But then
she's asking for Gon though, and where he's Gon at.
And the one thing that we start to get fed info on is. Basically, Pito and Pouf wanted to experiment on humans to see if they can make humans into ants without because now they don't have the queen to lay eggs. And this was their attempt to disconnect I think they said emotion with logic or memories.
Yeah, memories.
Emotion and memories. So that's the thing here is
unfortunately that her emotions were already
fucking crazy.
Yeah. So they just didn't unplug memories.
But so we have the scene here where it's kind of perfect. It gives Killua, because Killua is a character that hates Palm the most.
He's also always distrusts a lot of people himself. He always plays cautious to the new people. And
out of his concern for Gon, he doesn't want Palm to, because he thinks, as you said,
Gon will snap.
Yeah, he thinks that this will be terrible for him, so he doesn't want her to be there. But at the same time, it's not fair to Palm because Palm is a person.
Yeah, there's someone they knew.
Yeah, and so. Now we see why Palm is an enhancer, because she fucking bayonetas makes her hair powerful.
Well, Killua say that she's the enemy, her hair wraps around her into a hot goth outfit, I wrote. Yeah, Bayonetta, like you said.
She becomes it's called something witch,
it's
I think.
Umbra Witch? I don't know.
That's Bayonetta.
I know. But she had the casual Bayonetta outfit, though, with the hat, the sun hat, and
I fucking love this. And basically Palm just wipes the floor with Killua. Killua says, there's no way I can stand a chance against her.
Yeah.
At this, but so, and then this is
well, it cuts away, and then we get to Knuckle confronting Pouf in front of everyone as well.
Yeah.
So.
Was this the?
That's how the chapter ends. It cuts with Knuckle showing up with Gon, in the room with Gon. And
that's right, yeah.
So yeah, that's when Palm's Black Widow, which is her hair that can become a weapon, it changes with her emotions. It's a defensive technique.
Yeah.
So. So Killua, he said the whole thing of she is super strong. He's I'll let you see Gon, but you have to call him by his name first, and explain the situation to her. And she crazy snaps out of it for the most part from that.
Yeah, and it's so
there's some nicer moments with her and Killua later on.
Yeah, it's not really all fleshed out here, but having her kind of come back, because when this happens, you're oh no, Palm is lost. Palm is a bad guy now. She's totally just an ant. All the ants are bad.
Killua explains everything that's happened with Gon and everything, and she just
And you see that she still loves Gon. She still has a connection to humans, and it's just
And even seeing
yes.
Killua explain to her the situation, seeing how he's reacting to it, gets to her
Yeah, I think. Yeah, is this where Killua cries? I think Killua cries at this part.
He explains the situation to her,
and this is one of the cry moments for me, because I'm just Killua. This is one of the few times where. Because I think another character brings it up to Killua where they're yo, we should talk about Gon. You're really fucked up by Gon right now. And he's no, it's fine. He doesn't want to talk about it. I think it's Meliaron. But then, yeah, this is the time when he really admits, he's terrified of what's going to happen with Gon and he can't stop it.
Yeah.
And it's just a big, damn moment. And it's kind of a blessing he has Palm, because Palm is a person that he can, he that has a connection with Gon, so...
And he screams that he can't help him anymore. Nothing he can do. He can't help him.
Yeah, it's so horrible, because their whole friendship has been about, being there for each other.
But then during this whole thing, I got worried because Pouf is in her hat, and he calls her number one and tells her to kill him, but she just, Palm's over the breakdown, Nah from Pito's... This is the flashback when Palm encountered Pito's end.
Yes.
And she almost tried to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Which is
crazy. Fucked her up. And basically she totally lost herself. She lost her sense of self.
They sever her memories and emotional center, but Palm breaks control. I love her name is Palm Siberia. I wrote that down. and crushes the poofling, as I called it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, she thanks Killua and said he is the one Gon needs the most, which I love. That's such a nice line. She puts her like love for him aside. Like he needs you. You need each other right now.
And then this is like this great moment where like these two characters that hate each other, they don't like they're not cool yet, but they've reached this common understanding and like.
We put our petty things aside. We have to help our friend.
Yeah, it warms the cockles of my heart, especially the fact that it escalated to like fighting.
Yeah,
like I think that really makes it so much more powerful.
He was attacking. He was just running or dodging essentially. Yeah. So
I wish we saw that fucking ability again. I love her Black Widow.
I know she went back to recon. So yeah. So Pouf admits he is a shell to Knuckle and them, and Zidakor's on the way to the king and does like a psychological gambit. He also wonders why Youpi spared him, because he figured, like, you were fighting him, what the fuck, man? Yeah. And then, he tried to trick Knuckle, but
he even says, there's a part where, like, they're talking, him and Youpi are talking, and Poof's like, wow, you've grown up a lot. Like, he even acknowledges that, like, Youpi is, like, way more cool-headed.
You're not the hot-headed meathead that, I knew.
Yeah, like, he actually, like, has like a newfound respect for.
You're not a smooth brain. You're a rough brain.
Rough brain.
Would that be the opposite of smooth brain?
Yeah, a ridged brain.
A ridged brain. A bumpy brain.
A bumpy
brain.
Bumpy brain just sounds horrible.
Bumpy brain.
Oh, my aunt had bumpy brain.
It's like an insult of like the 1920s or 1950s. Bumpy brain. Yeah. So yeah, that's when Gon kind of calls him out on his trick. He's trying to do a Knuckle. But that's when Pouf also sees Gon as like trouble, like this guy's a threat. He calls me out on my bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm the master of bullshitting. So yeah, and then he says Pouf splits and runs. Peter told him to stop, but I didn't listen. But they said, I'll meet at the gate for you better be there in 10 minutes to Knuckle. And Peter pleads with Gon to like, please, he didn't mean that shit.
Which is so like, it's crazy that like Pito, a character
that character's been built up of just menacing, like just being in like the vicinity of them, it just cripples you mentally. It's just pleading and like just apologizing, like pathetic looking. Like, and it's so fascinating.
It just shows how much devotion he has for Meruem.
For the king. You haven't got to his name, a fish? We know his name. We learned the name, like, we literally learned the name in the last half.
Yeah.
I'm still not used to his name, though, because...
Meruem?
Yeah.
Because, no one calls him Meruem until...
Only until, like, the very end where he starts to refer to him, but then again, the people that learned his name all die.
It's true.
It's a cursed name.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that.
Everybody...
Netero even says, like, I'm probably one of the last people alive.
Because it's him and the science... team. The science team all got wiped out by a Cheeto.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
I'm pretty sure.
That's so fucked up that, like, no one will know him.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Palm knows his name. Because Palm talks to him.
Well, she talks to him, but she also, like, maybe when she was... Could she hear when she's spying on people? Could she hear them?
No, she can't.
Okay,
she explicitly says she can't hear.
So she can't, like, overhear from that either. So, I don't know. Someone in the comments would probably meant to say that if we're wrong. But, so yeah, then Gon says you have to heal him in 10 minutes faster now, which I love. And like worried that like, wait, how do you know? I was making such good progress, and I'm gonna be done in 10 minutes. Did he know that?
That was that's another one of the things where it's like, yeah, Pito is like being terrified.
Is he a medical expert that knows how I'm doing?
And yeah, Pito's like, I even like hid the incision, like. And of course, this is just Gon being like rash and like
impatient.
Impatient. Which it's funny because that's kind of a gag that shows up in Hunter x Hunter sometimes, where Gon makes the right choice by accident, and like everyone thinks he's smarter than he actually is, but he's not.
But then, ooh, sorry, I got a burp from that Chipotle earlier. That's all. Pito says, that does it, and he's like, okay, what's he gonna do? But it doesn't happen because Gon says, oh, I know he split his core. Pito decides Gon can't be left alive and has to die for the king's sake.
Yeah, because he's like that fucking determined and terrifying.
Yeah, and so Knuckle almost tells Gon about Youpi but doesn't, and then Welfin goes to find Okago, and he attacks Welfin, but he says he won't sell out his friends, and that's when we have the standoff, which I have a lot of notes about the standoff. As I see, it's a quarter of my page right here. So, he managed to hurt Welfin. The missiles don't hurt him because he's not talking. He's just, like, taking the silent approach, like the ... option in Telltale games. And, because the missiles rely on verbal exchanges, so he implants these living centipedes in Okago, these black centipedes.
Yeah, they're actually...
They're Nen.
It's the eggs. Yeah, they're Nen centipedes.
It's a conjurer.
Yeah.
I guess he has conjure missiles. So I guess he's all around conjurer.
Conjurer emitter, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
They feed on Defiance, so he loads a rifle. He's just loading a rifle while his head is like bursting.
I love that.
Blood.
It's so brutal.
And he shoots him in the leg, like in like the thighs, like both thighs, and his head just keeps growing. He's like Luffy, so you're not really sure. He's just doing this because he's like not meant. His brain's not functioning 100%. And he's like the blood loss and the brain swelling probably. It spooks Welpin so much, and Welpin just surrenders because he's like, I don't know what to do, and he asks him to remove the centipedes, but he says, oh, I can't disable them, and can't disable Missile Man. I guess the centipedes are part of Missile Man.
Yeah,
so,
they're the missiles. Yeah.
So
they're the man inside the missile.
The man in the missile. So he pretends to pass out, but then he just aims the gun at him and like snaps him out. I love it. This whole thing is so good.
I know, it's awesome.
He gets him to tell him the truth, and the centipedes take pain from the truth. That's how they what?
Guess who voices Youpi in the anime?
Wait,
the English
dub?
dub. Tomar.
Really?
Yeah. Joshua Tomar.
That is incredible.
I'm sorry.
I have to listen to the episode after this.
I know. I'm sorry. I saw that.
that shows his brother himself, Tomar. Wow.
Jaxie, I gotta kill Go Jaxie. Knuckle's gonna kill Jaxie.
Oh my god, that's no way. I had to listen.
I can't believe that. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, everyone.
So
Joshua Tomar is fucking Oni play. He's on Oni plays. That's why we know.
He sounds like Chills. So the centipedes take, their weakness is Welpin telling the truth, which is hilarious. And the one thing, Kago asks him if he remembers being human, and then we get the Welpin kind of human back, so remember his father choking him while his mom watches in the back.
Yeah.
And his stepbrother saved him, and it reminded him of Gyro. And
so
his king.
Yeah, so Gyro is his stepbrother.
Okay, is his stepbrother.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, and that's the thing, too, this moment is, where we learn that, this whole thing about, Gyro is his king, that comes back in, a really powerful way.
Gyro was important.
Gyro was important, actually. We just don't see him.
So, and he wishes he could see him again. Yeah. So he led Bizep and Hina to the treasure, and so and it cuts back to the fight to the king and Chairman's leg is cut off. We're like, fuck.
It is such a surprising moment.
But then he flexes and seals up his wound, so he keeps fighting.
I fucking love that.
But then just loses his left arm, and then keeps fighting anyway. But then Netero does his final attack, the Buddha Roar, which is a middle finger. I love that's the middle finger. It's like that little prayer, with the middle finger out, which I'm...
Because it's he makes a zero with his thumb and index finger.
Yeah, and just had the middle finger out, though.
Sam is doing it to me right now.
I love it. And then...
that is so fucking cool.
But it causes him to shrivel up, though. It's, horrifying.
And they actually make a little reference, to earlier in the arc, in the first half, where there's a part where Killua feels an aura so powerful that it makes him run away. Do you remember this?
Slightly, yeah.
They show the flashback for, 1 or 2 panels, but we learn that this aura that Killua felt, that terrified him so much was, Netero, preparing this ability. He had this ability prepared for this fight as, a sort of second to last ditch effort.
I remember him meditating. There was just the huge eruption of energy coming from, the mountain he was, meditating on.
Mm-hmm.
So
you blast Netero, and you're like, oh, he fucking got him. Or
the key lives. He actually has scratches on him and everything, though. But she calls him Miriam, though. That's when we get the first...
Miriam.
Meruem. Meruem. That's not how I would expect to say that.
How wait, Mereum.
Yeah.
Meruem.
I was gonna say the king. So I don't butcher it.
It's Meruem.
So I don't butcher it.
Meruem.
Worse. So yeah. Then you get the malice coming from Netero. He has this horrifying, scary face that he has, the black eyes and the open mouth. It looks like a. There's something it looks like. I can't remember. Put it on
a skeleton.
It's like a hollow. It's like a hollow, husk zombie kind of face.
He becomes
it reminds me of
true monster.
The spirit from Spirited Away. Those little white things.
Oh,
that
little
kind
fire
of face.
Spirits.
Yeah, there's probably a lore to that kind of look to it. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But that's the first time the king has ever felt fear. Is this aura, and then he just pokes his finger into his heart, and then causes a bomb. So You remember in Red Alert 3, there's like the president has like, if my heart stops, the nukes go off, and like,
Yes.
just like that. J.K. Simmons as Netero.
I love that. That's the first thing that you reminded me to.
Red Alert 3 is a big game for me. Okay.
So I want to talk about this scene because it's like
The poor man's rose.
yeah. So this is like insane. Like the panel
this
of
is the first time like nukes or anything have been like equivalent to like a man-made like thing being like such like big weapon. Like it's not Nen. It's what I'm trying to say.
and it kind of puts Nen into perspective because like this nuke is like
No matter how strong
so
you are, it's going to like destroy you essentially.
yeah, like it is this new. It just shows how like horrifying nukes are. Like that's the thing. Like
And it's
if
like,
you start reading Hunter x Hunter in chapter 1, you don't expect there to be like a message about how terrible nukes are.
it didn't get like the effects of this nuke either until like later on. Too.
Yes. Which they refer to as poison, but I think it's supposed to be like radiation poisoning.
I think that's supposed to be the equivalent to it. That's what I kind of assumed.
Yeah, they call it like the Rose's Thorns, which is like a really cool little metaphor.
It is very cool.
This is like this. So the scene where he, as you said, like his face kind of becomes like evil, and like that one panel where it's just like it's completely like white, and then it's just his body's like totally shaded, like he's naked in the panel too.
Yeah,
and he like shoves his fingers like deep into his
heart.
heart.
Fingers his heart.
It is so chilling.
It is horrifying
because like this is not like it just is insane to me that this is what the character's doing.
I said he like when he turns to like a husk, he just looks like he doesn't even look human anymore. He's just like
he's becoming a monster.
Yeah, he's becoming like an undead monster essentially.
And
he lost his limbs. He doesn't have a leg, doesn't have an arm. He's like no. He's all his Nen on that last attack.
Yeah, which is crazy. And the other thing too is like we see a little flashback because they explain the poor man's rose and like how they say it was mass produced, which is terrifying. To think that because it's really tiny, it's like the size of like a PSP.
They have actually like an image of what that nuke actually looked like on its own.
Yeah, and it literally just looks like a small little like box. Like it looks kind of like a GPS box.
Yeah,
but they explain that like basically someone came to Netero and told him like you need to kill like this is like the last ditch effort. Yeah, so that implies that there are people that are like so above Netero that nobody else knows about this. Like this is not something that like Knuckle or sorry, not Knuckle would know, but like Moral and Nav don't seem to know of. The only person that seems to know is Palm.
Yeah.
But Palm has like the ESP, like she has like clairvoyance, so it makes a little more sense why she would know.
I can maybe seeing like oh, here's money. We know Zeno could probably help you a little bit here. Yeah. Like,
but it really makes you think like, who is above? Like, who is dictating this to Netero?
The thing it reminds me of like One Piece, just like the government, just like there's always steps up in the government. You don't know like how high it goes and how powerful like these people on the top of the totem pole are. Like that kind of thing. Like even though all we saw was a guy in a business suit, and that's all we saw. Like,
yeah, it's very vague, but it's just like the implication that even though Netero is probably the most powerful Nen user that we've seen, powerful human Nen user. Yeah. There's still people that have power over him. Yeah. And it also kind of ties into, like, how corrupt humans are and, like...
And, yeah.
They go more into that.
The terrible things they can create.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then, Youpi and Pouf see the rose form in the cloud. And I love the image of, like, what's cool in a mushroom cloud? Cool. A rose cloud.
It is just so fucking cool. And, like, as I said, like, the whole thing with, like, the thorns, like, tying into it, like... Just beautiful metaphor. Beautiful, terrible metaphor.
Yeah. So Knuckle approaches Pouf, but Pouf is morphing into the bug. As we get the image of like the half-faced Pouf as like...
Yeah, and I think that's more of like a metaphor of like... I don't think he's actually morphing into an ant. I think it's just like... It's that moment where like we were getting all of this humanization for Youpi.
Did you not... They said the king caused it. They said because the king for a second like lost control of... Because remember he can like on a whim change them all to violent, mindless creatures. So that was just like him just like kind of like... dying or losing consciousness for like a split second before he kind of like snapped back because he was alive still, but
well what I mean is like I see it as like it's a metaphor for like I don't think Poof's face actually turned into an ant.
I think it did.
I think it's like who saw him? Was it Knuckle?
Yeah.
Knuckle is like seeing like so Knuckle's whole thing is like he had respect for Youpi because Youpi was like equal to humans. This is a moment where Pouf is like reverting back to just a worker ant. He's just concerned with the king's welfare. I mean, you can take it either way. I think the most important part is like acknowledging that this is what it's supposed to be. Like,
Or
it's...
I just think someone so close just kind of reacting to like, the king, like basically getting really like heavily hurt and just like kind of snapping at that, or just like.
I mean, it isn't out of the realm of possibility because we know that Pouf can transform. We see him transform into Komugi later.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. In my mind, it's more of a metaphor about how the ants have all of the development that they've had has been ceased because they feel betrayed by the humans in this moment.
But then Youpi says, "Oh yeah, I'm so long it's gonna kill all these humans."
Yeah, which is like, I mean, so he says that here, but does he really mean it?
Who knows?
We'll get to that later.
So a king is alive, but a horrifying husk. Like, it is disturbing what he like becomes.
It is so fucking disturbing. I love this imagery, actually. I think it's like that, especially, I think the manga does it better, actually. Like, that image of when Youpi, like, holds his corpse, and it's, like, just a torso, basically, and his eyes...
It's like all burnt, too.
Yeah, his lips are, like, all charred, and... Oh, it's so... their reaction, like, sells it, too. It makes it so... Then, like, sad.
Yeah, Pouf said he'll let him eat him. I thought, okay, Pouf is gonna sacrifice his life, but no, he just like put some of his ooze inside of him.
He pretty much sacrifices most of his life. I think he says like he put like 7/6 of his essence into. So Pouf is like nowhere near as big of a threat as he was before. Yeah. From like a
Youpi did too, but Youpi turned to a chibi, and I hate that he turned to a chibi. I just wanted to see him fight again.
Too bad. So I don't really have an issue with this.
He shared his name, and then after you have a tear-filled feast.
So okay, I absolutely love this scene where they basically like they compare it to like a mother nursing a baby. Like they literally make that like that's like drawn. Like Takashi draws a baby like nursing on a boob. They are like giving their life essence to the king.
Yeah.
And this is extremely important. This isn't just like a bullshit power up. This is like, it is, but it is extremely important because like at this moment...
They become one.
Yeah, like their essences go into Meruem, and he basically takes on all of their character development.
He gets the wings, he grows his wings, like physical, well, get the wings, he gets the explode, like the face arm.
Which he can use as like a beam, like a super powerful laser, which is hilarious because at this moment, Knuckle has given APR to Pouf, so the core Pouf is with a Meruem, so the little like baby interest-bearing thing appears there, and Meruem is like, oh, this is a threat, and then he launches that like super powerful laser beam at it, and then of course it's unaffected because
the one thing,
it's like just totally invincible, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah,
is it an N beast? I guess it's technically an N beast, right?
I guess so. Yeah, he conjures it.
Yeah,
or conjures after a punch requirements. So Akago sees the wreckage of the mansion. That's when he gets out of the basement and just sees like a crater.
I love that scene where he's like, damn, it's only been 30 minutes.
He looked out, he's in the basement.
Yeah, he would have been crushed.
He meets up with Killua and Palm. I was so happy he finally got to meet Palm, though. Like,
because, yeah, his whole mission was, like...
finding Palm. And then they find Knuckle and Mel as well, and they all will keep... images of them just keep walking. It's, like, so good.
Because it, like... So the one thing I wish I brought up earlier, once they fight... Once the fight with Youpi ends, like... Honestly, that's kind of the last fight. That's the last, like, real fight that we have in this arc, which is crazy because it's, like, halfway into it. So, like, once that happens, there's not really another, like, big confrontation. It's a lot of, like, little skirmishes.
Yeah.
So, having them all, like, regroup at this moment feels so good because everything felt so bad just, like, a few moments ago.
We lost, two people are out. We have one new in with Palm and, like,
and Palm is just, like, hyper powered up now. Like, yeah. And she has got, like, the cool new ability where she can see split screen.
Yeah. So Gon knows the surgery is done now and he wants to fight. So if Peter says one word, he will kill Komugi.
Yeah. Well, Gon doesn't want to fight. Gon wants...
He wants to go to Kite.
He wants her to heal Kite. Or him to heal Kite.
Yeah, but he still wants to fight.
Yeah. He also does want to fight.
Like, let's go.
Yeah.
But Knuckle and Killua show, and as if he wants interest... Oh, yeah. If he wants to put interest on not Komugi, what's his name? Pito. And he said, no, I want this, I don't want that on there.
Yeah. Gon is like, in a weird way, Gon has a lot of trust for Pito here.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre.
But he just told him, yeah, use Komugi as a hostage. And
Yeah.
like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, and it's just like, damn, Gon, this is not cool.
And then they leave them with like the most annoying escort mission they got to do now. The Ashley of Hunter x Hunter, Kamugi.
Yeah.
So,
It's even funnier too because she actively doesn't want to be rescued. She
really
thinks
doesn't.
they're the bad guys.
he fights them off.
Oh, which is so funny. That's how I feel when I play Resident Evil 4. I feel like she wants to be kidnapped.
There's no dumpster you can throw her in. So yeah, the king is back. Pouf and Youpi are chibis. His memory is hazy though, so the whole thing is, he doesn't remember Kamugi, so I gotta kill her now so he doesn't ever remember her.
Yeah, which honestly, like, Pouf, this is such a stupid, like, strategy. Like, basically, Pouf is hoping that the king never, ever, ever sees a Gungi board for the rest of his life. Like,
I mean, at one point, yeah, he sees like a remnants of like a Gogi board. Like, I gotta cover up this evidence.
yeah, and he misses
one piece.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So, and then that's when King grows his wings and goes to the palace. Knuckle and Mel nail Pouf out of the air, but Palm predicted it. That's how they knew he hit Pouf.
Yeah,
Palm got a third eye, the
Yeah.
literal third eye in her head.
It's kind of cool that like Pouf was trying to use Palm against them, but now Palm is like the ace in the hole for them.
Yes, and I guess when the group learned the king is actually alive still.
Yeah, which is horrifying.
As I said, notice the interest and uses Youpi's arm blast to like try to destroy it and it doesn't work.
Okay, yeah.
And he learns about Youpi's choice of like sparing them and learns about Mel's ability as well, so he knows there's someone who does invisibility.
So yeah, there's this moment I think is when he says like, now that we are all one, Meruem says this, now that we are all one, there should be no secrets between us.
But Pouf still holds secrets, though.
Mm-hmm. Even Youpi is Youpi's like afraid to admit that because like from Youpi's standpoint, he failed in a way.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we said he inherits them. He probably has the psychological profile reader that Pouf has, so he knows they're lying, but he doesn't know. He can't read their mind, though. But
yeah, it's very clear. Like, Meruem is kind of playing dumb a lot in this. Like, he definitely knows that Pouf is lying, but it's almost like he wants Pouf to admit it. Like, he wants Pouf to be the bigger man, in a way.
Yeah, you're what? I'm your king. You gotta, like, respect me and, like...
Exactly, and not try and subvert him. And this is so interesting because we have... Pouf thinks he knows what the king is. Like, Pouf has this mental idea of, like, the king should be this. But by doing that, he's, like, actively subverting the king and, like, defying the king. Which he should not be doing.
No, not if he's as powerful as he is. So, Killua runs with Godspeed with Kamugi on his back. And he knows like that Pouf is trying to kill him, so he knows he wants to kill her, but for some reason Pito wanted to save her.
Yeah.
So they had these two conflicting ideals for the same, guards, essentially. Which is like, you don't understand what's going on. So yeah, so Pouf is trying to lie to her also, saying like, those people are trying to kill you, Lady Kamugi.
Yeah.
Like,
I love this. Pouf is such a dastard. He's just like an asshole.
But luckily Killua doesn't respect women, and he knocks her out.
It's funny because like I forgot he did
the
that.
only woman he probably respects the most is probably Bisky.
Yeah, no,
and even then,
but he still hates her.
I said even then.
He hates Bisky. Yeah.
Even I guess Palm at the end of this, Palm is probably ranked above Bisky.
I think this is the scene when he says to Palm, he's like thank you. He literally says,
"You were my friend."
Yeah, he says thank you, and then he's also like kind of a dick about it. He's like a little tsundere about it, and Palm's like, you're kind of making me like. Then this is another moment where I'm just like, oh, my heart is so large.
So after Killua disrespects another woman, he said if Pouf enters this circle, he will kill him, and he burns his cells.
Which is so... This is another, like... I just love Godspeed so much. It's so OP, but in a really fun way.
And the king knows, like, Pouf's, like, in pain a little bit, like, the chibi one.
Doesn't he, like, melt half his face?
Yeah, he, like, melts, like, half the face, like, burning. So, yeah, the king's not buying Pouf's BS, and, yeah, Pouf tried to get rid of the Gungi stuff. And then Gon finally gets there with Pito to the area where I guess they just left Kite.
Yeah, this is kind of weird to me.
They left him in a cave hoping he wouldn't run away.
Well, it's a castle. It's a nice little castle. I love the one shot of them like in front of the castle. It's really cool, like background or like a setting piece.
Yeah. So yeah, Palm informs Killua of the king. Also killing Pouf's core is like his weakness and everything, but it doesn't really come super into play more so like we gotta try to find a core, but they never get it.
I think they say it's the size of a bee.
Yeah, they do say it has to be the size of a bee. They can't change the size at the core.
Yeah, that's like the smallest you can make it.
So yeah, as we get Killua thanks Palm for everything and calls her a friend, and it's such a nice moment. Killua actually like thanks a woman. And not like beats them or calls them names.
And it's so good because Killua is going through like the worst time in his life right now.
His best friend's going through the hardest shit in his life.
Yeah, and the fact that he's able to have like Ikalgo and Palm here as like supportive friends is so valuable to me as a reader. I need this. Yeah.
So Pito tells Gon Kite's already dead. That's when we learn. And he died from the first fight they had after she like literally cut him up.
So this is just like, this is one of those things that when I was going through it, I was like, I didn't see Kite coming back.
Same.
Like, the panel, well, it wasn't when I watched it initially, but the scene when she holds Kite's head in her in her lap, like decapitated, I was like, yeah, no, he's gone. He's dead.
I was like, when they brought him back, I actually like, oh, I can't wait to try again. And like, if the body's all cut up like that, and like, I just no way, like, you're first gonna live, like, even though like, Palm goes on to live a life as an ant, I guess.
Yeah, she just has to put on like cool like stockings and like
put her hair outfit on, she'll be fine.
No, I don't. That would be horrifying to see a woman covered in hair running down the street doing backflips.
I mean, she was horrifying enough walking down the street as herself, so that'd be fine. But, so they can't bring the dead back and only preserve the bodies and apologizes to Gon.
I think this is so, like, I love Pito. I think Pito is my favorite of the King's Guards. Like,
definitely.
The fact that he apologizes here to Gon, it's like, it really just, he's a victim of circumstance. So is Gon. Like, there's not, like, malice between them. It's just, these are the way that they were born and the way that they encountered each other.
And then Gon just blames himself and stuck in his head saying, I killed Kite. I did it. I murdered him.
That scene where Gon, like, all of the thoughts are rushing through his head, and it's just, like, the whole page is covered with, like, all these, like, contradicting, intrusive thoughts is so awful.
And then, but while Gon's freaking out, Pito's healing his arm and everything. And...
yeah. Oh, that's another scene, too, where he's, like, Gon can't process it. He's like, oh, he brought out the doctor. He's going to heal Kite. He's lying. And it's like, why is he healing his arm? And then it's,
it hurts.
It hurts me. It hurts me.
And then, Pouf tells Palm and Killua he tricked Pito and he wants Komugi. So, because remember, he essentially pranks calls Pito.
Yeah. This is such a big brain move.
Yeah. Apparently he can do that.
Yeah. Which also was he was using Welfin too, so Welfin is, like, complicit in this one scene.
But, yeah, because he needs to get... moved out of there. He's like, legs are shot. Then probably my favorite moment when Killua turns to him and says, "Run, you son of a bitch," is one of my favorite moments in this. Because he just has like, you just fucked up, man. You want Komugi, you gonna die. But yeah, the Palm will guard Komugi while Killua heads to Gon. So yeah, Pito tells Gon he needs to kill him for the king, and calls Pito a liar. He's still freaking out and says Gon says all he needs is power, and that's when Pito summons the new puppet, the combat one. What was it?
Damn, I want to look.
Terpichora? It's like Terpichora.
I guess so. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not gonna try.
And then that's when the transformation happens. He's transformed and like. It's like you get like this the outline, like the dark face and a whole transformation thing, but like it's not like a cut shot to it. He's gone. He's like literally gone, and Pito following. You just see him standing there, just like blank face essentially.
Yeah, he like isn't he's totally gone, and he's like in the front of the mansion. Like Pito has to run through the whole fucking mansion to get to him,
and he forced himself to grow to an age that he would be able to defeat Pito.
Yeah, which is like so. This is crazy. That Gon basically is using all of his Nen for this one moment. And it's like, it brings up this kind of idea. It's like, is this something that like anyone can do? Like, could someone that is like this emotionally destroyed, could have people done this before?
Can they push their Nen like so hard to like change their body physically?
Or is there just something with Gon where he's like, he just has such an innate like Nen ability that he's able to like unlock this horrible
that potential. If you have that potential in it and you don't utilize that potential or like train with it, or like it just kind of goes to your, when you have an emotional break like that, you don't have anyone to like really stop you. He was alone there. Maybe you had Killua with him or something like that. Like or anyone there would have probably stopped him from transforming, but like having no one there to tell him, because every time he's seen, remember when he did the test punch with Moral, Killua stopped him, and he was thinking of everything with Kite there, so he could have snapped there and like killed Moral, could have transformed, like
just because he was in the wrong mind space.
Yeah, so who knows? I think it's just if you have like this heavy Nen potential, and then you just lose control, and like depending on like if he's an enhancer, he just enhances his entire body to an age.
Yeah,
physically he can destroy anyone, or like maybe it's different for every kind of user, or it affects everyone differently.
Yeah, it's a really interesting idea, and it's like it's so terrifying, and like the Gon gives up literally everything because he's so blinded with rage, and like jumping ahead a little bit, like you can tell he immediately regrets it. Like, the part when he, like, the incredible scene when he turns to Killua and, like, tears start to well up in his eyes, and it's just like, oh, no.
Yeah, so Peter tries to attack him, and he gets destroyed, like, and then it's literally a punch and knock to juggle him in the air, and then just charges out Rock, and just, I wrote epic punch, because that was for sure, like, in our stupid shit where we watched, like, top 10 epic anime punches, that was, like, one of them, like, no.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he just like...
He does an epic anime punch.
Destroys the face.
It's like, so this is another, like how I said before, when Pito like jumped up to fight Netero and he got smacked and all he could do was fall. Like this is like the same thing. Like Gon like kicks him up in the air so high.
Even if he anchored down, Gon was gonna punch him anyway because Gon wasn't moving.
Yeah, there's nothing. So yeah, once Pito gets kicked in the air, he is fucked. Like all he can do is flail in the air until Gon punches him again. To me that is like such a horrifying scene. Like
yes, we also know that he sacrificed all of his Nen also for this transformation.
Yeah, and then like so yeah, he ends up punching Pito really hard, and then he keeps doing it. Like,
when Killua notices the aura, and then that's when he comes and sees Gon just non-stop smashing Pito's head
into a pulp.
And then that's when
he has killed Pito at this moment. Pito is dead.
Yes, the head is nothing.
Yeah, Pito's fucking face is gone.
That's when Killua notices him and he's crying, and he realizes it's gone. And it's the look of someone who's been training for decades.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite of Bisky, where Bisky like had a heavy aura hidden inside, like, and he was like just outwards, everything out. With,
yeah,
like,
that was
with like the nice, cute person in the inside.
Yeah, this is it's really cool that they bring that up because like my head didn't go there, but like I could see someone thinking like, oh, this is kind of like how Bisky can get big, but Killua like explicitly says like, this is different.
This
like,
is the opposite of
this
Bisky.
This is bad. Like this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
And then the zombie Pito tries to do a sneak attack on Gon and he loses an arm, but Killua saved him. In time.
So this is one of those things that I love about Nen and Hunter x Hunter is like the ability of the Nen, or like the intent of the Nen gets stronger with death sometimes. So even though Pito is dead,
he became a puppet solely just to kill Gon.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you said, like, it cuts his arm off.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
So even though how powerful his form is, he can still lose a limb, I guess.
Yeah, and actually, Killua saves Gon here. Killua pushes Gon out of the way. He does get his arm cut off, but then, in an epic scene, uses his arm.
Oh my god, it's so Gon is happy he can just be like Kite now. He's like really on death. He's like, I'm ready to die now.
Yeah, he's happy. Yeah, but the moment he loses his arm, he like connects it to Kite at that moment.
And then he uses a severed arm to stab Pito, and it's just the fucking best scene ever. It's so crazy.
Yeah, and so he stabs Pito and impales her in the ground, or him in the ground. Then he does like the most epic like Janken Pon, where he like just completely like levels the ground, and like Pito is nothing. There's nothing left.
Destroyed. It's not even a fight.
I don't think we even see them for the rest of the palace invasion.
We see Palm sees Killua carrying Gon back, right, and that's like really it. So
and it's just like, so I want to talk about the scene a little bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, Killua is just devastated by this. Like Killua cannot process what's happening.
I mean, how many people can?
It is so tragic to me. And like, as I said, like the scene when Gon looks back at Killua after he's like, but right before he like gets his arm cut off and he like cries, like he starts crying. He's just like, this is fucked. Like, this is bad. I regret this.
Just
like, I can't believe this is what happened. This is not supposed to be how it happened. And it fucking sucks.
Who could have predicted this?
Literally, who?
So
it just makes me sad.
yeah. It's kind of crazy how that's not like even the penultimate thing that happens in his arc. It's just like we still have like 10 chapters and everything.
I know. It's like this arc does so much with like the fallout of events.
This is a penultimate. The ultimate stuff is still like, the king's not even resolved. This is like not even related to the king. This is like a separate thing. This is
in a way you could say that like once the king learns his name, it's over. Like it's like that's the moment when like the arc is resolved.
Well, for me, is once Wolfen is the real hero of the arc. It's
well,
incredible.
okay, I want to save that moment when we get there.
So, the king still feels something is missing. He remembers Pita and the task he gave him, but he still can't remember who it was the task was for.
Yeah.
And
he has like there are like all these blind spots in his memory. Like everything's slowly coming back.
He sees like, him playing Gogi with someone.
Gungi.
Gungan. Yeah, playing the Gungan game. So he tells Youpi to find him. And the king's aura just scares the crap out of them still because how much powerful it is now.
Yeah,
they are now feeling that horrific end that like it's like Pito is given to everybody else. As I kind of equivalent there, now they know how it feels.
Yeah.
And, so Knuckle and Mel know they have to retreat from the aura, but the King's End lights up the palace and appears to Knuckle and Mel and just knocks them out instantly.
He's basically just moving at supersonic speed.
Yeah.
Like, not even, like, faster. Like, he's almost light speed. Like, you see, Knuckle has, like, time to, like, move his eye over when he, like, feels that the King's End is activated.
He only KO'd them, and then I was like, okay, wow, Mel was at Knuckle gonna die, but no, he just knocks them out and just, like, you interrogate them.
Yeah, and this shows, like, the king has changed at this moment. Like, through all of the... Like, this is not the king that we initially saw, like...
The one that would kill anyone, like, no matter human or ant, just instantly.
Yeah, like, he's now, like, so hyper-aware of, like, I have this goal I need to accomplish. I need to keep every piece available. Like, no one can die now.
These humans should have a chance to live. At least let me, like, choose or come to that decision or not. So, then he also notices Palm and Akago because he knows, there's like there's two more Nen users in this mansion left, and
this is when the game begins again.
So Pouf wants to see if they can finish before the king can find them. So the king can use N only once. This is the game that Pouf uses against him now.
Because Pouf's whole plan is still to kill, what's her name?
Kamugi. But like, unfortunately, but unfortunately, the king is like supersonic speed with the N. So he's like, okay, I kind of need to bullshit around this. So yeah, he has to only use an N once. He accepts, and he will grant the guards any wish if they win. But if he wins, the guards must tell him the truth.
Yeah, or he'll kill them. So Youpi and Pouf split up. Palm sees Killua carrying Gon, and she thinks to go underground. So that's the last time I think we see Gon and Killua before the epilogue, essentially. Yeah. And she meets with Ikago, and they go to the town, and they want Welfen to be the messenger, because they say they were friends in their human lives, and they will give him his freedom if they help him, and tell him to find Gyro when he leaves, and he calls him by his human name, which I didn't write down. Yeah, this is like one of those crazy moments where it's just like, Welfen has kind of been playing around with this idea that he has this like real identity that he's attached to, and then by Ikago being like, you were my friend, like we had a past, this is like the moment where Welfen is like, fuck everything, like I want to control my own destiny, I don't want to follow this person that I don't believe. Do it for Gyro. He's like, fuck. Yeah. Got me. Yeah. But yeah, so Pouf is weaker and can't spread his scales very well because he still has to hypnotize the... He kind of forget there's people supposed to be coming to the mansion. Yeah, there's like literally like hundreds of thousands of people outside. You kind of forget about that. Yeah. So yeah, Kago tells him to take Blaster 2 to leave the area. And because he used to be one of them too, but he doesn't remember their human lives like they do. Yeah. Unfortunately. So then Welfen tells Youpi about the trade and asks Youpi questions and activates his missiles. And then it cuts away. I know. I was so mad they cut away from that. Because it's like, it just feels crazy that Welfen... Because Welfen was like totally... He's like the one character that like totally flips sides in this conflict. And then Killua concludes Kamugi is a double-edged sword where, could be used against or for the king. Like, and then that's part of the pull plan where Palm has to go underground because like she's like full, okay, they have Knuckle, they have Mel, we need to
with a hider.
Hostage. Yeah, we have to have a hostage.
And they hide her in like a
now.
crate in like the storage room,
which is
like,
it seems mean.
Like the end of like
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones. I mean, luckily she remembered exactly where she left her.
Yeah, right.
And she probably I don't know.
She has clairvoyance.
Wait. Can Palm? She hasn't made eye contact with who they spot. So she
doesn't have to make eye contact. She just needs to see him.
Okay, so she can't do it with Kamugi until she opens her eyes to play Googie.
No, I think she just needs to see the person.
I could swear with eye contact, but yeah. So King finds the game piece and he's starting to remember everything, and that's when we cut back to Youpi being fucking dead. I was like, "You Wolfen, you magnificent bastard!"
That scene. So at this moment, like, I really like all of the characters. I don't want anyone to die, and like the way that they show Youpi dead is like really fucking heartbreaking because he's just dead, like a dead dog. Like there's no dignity. He's just like on the ground, and like you're just like,
it's not like bloody or anything. He's just his corpse.
Yeah, he's just on the. You're just like, what the fuck? Like, how did this happen?
So
it's so fucking like jarring.
But during this, Palm and Ikago, they have to hide her, but they said the king. So the king is dead, which will be in a few hours, she says.
So yeah, she's aware at least.
Yeah, so I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was like, how cocky are you right now, Palm?
I know, yeah, it's funny. It comes off that way, but honestly, she just knows.
Ikago thinks they were being cruel, and thinks they were just being just as bad as the ant with Kamugi. Yeah. And I was like, damn.
It's the whole thing where it's coming full circle of like, yeah, they're all just like the least becoming worse.
And then they said a bunch of depressing imagery just comes up.
This is the part where it just shows how humans are awful. Yeah. And it's like you see like starving children and like weapons of mass destruction and
just every terrible thing, every terrible image in human history.
It's like 4 or 5 pages.
It really is.
It's fucking intense.
And then we get info on the Poor Man's Road, which survivors has poison in them that eats them from the inside and turns them into agents that spread the poison around. So, which is weird. I don't know like how long you can be in contact to them, because it's weird. Because when the king talks to Palm and like some of the other people, they're like gonna be fine. But like,
it seems like it needs to be a pretty extended period of time because,
depends on how close you are to them.
Yeah, because we end up seeing like, well, okay, the king. We have to. Okay, well, maybe we'll get there later, but. It seems like you need to be for like an extended period of time because Palm is with the king for maybe like a minute or two.
You gotta think about how time goes here too.
Yeah, like Knuckle, like the king hits Knuckle and Mel, but like
he drops them off really quick, and then
so I think it needs to be like a decent amount. It's not just like a minute or two.
But we learned that Pouf got infected by the king because he coughs up blood.
Yeah, and they also were at the site of the explosion. Like they literally jump into like the fucking burning lava remains.
He does get a couple games in there with Kamungi. So that's when the king uses N again and finds Welfin, and so we revealed he died from
Youpi.
Youpi died from the poison, not from Welfin. I got disappointed a little bit from that.
So yeah, that because like to me, it's like that would just be that would be his death. Like if Welfin had killed him. He would just been. I feel like the king probably would have.
The king can read emotions now, so that's like he knew he was telling the truth and everything. And Pouf tries to say that Welfin will ruin the game. So this is like the biggest like chess match ever of like, oh, he's gonna ruin the game.
He's gonna say that one word, one word,
and like that's when Welfin like freaks out and he like ages up like 100 years.
I love this scene.
He's like a scared wet dog.
Yeah, I love his like transformation.
The fact he stays like that too at the end is like
so
hilarious.
Good. He's so cute. Like I love Welfin when he becomes like all shriveled.
And he's like, and like Nav does, and just like a horrifying, like mentally scarred guy.
But so like this is like such a great moment because he's like fighting every like horrifying intent. Like he's doing what like Nav couldn't do. Yeah,
well, Pouf says nothing. King says he's hungry and just looks at Welfin, and
he imagines him being eaten by the king.
And then the fear got his brain, like the cogs started moving because of the fear, and he just says Kamungi.
He says Kamungi and confuses the king, and the king kills him.
No, he's Kamungi.
Yeah, and then that is it. That's the fucking like little linchpin that like sets everything in motion.
It's so good. It's like the most satisfying. It's like it's not like a move. It's not a transformation. Not a hit. The most satisfying thing is just him saying the name, saying the one name, and it's the side character just came in during the whole arc.
But he's great. Welfin's so fucking awesome.
It's so great. It's so weird, but like,
and then the fact
I'm
that
not used to side characters and Shonen getting time to shine.
Yes, it's so unexpected, and it works so fucking well in this arc. Like between him and Palm, like. Just getting incredible, and Shoot too. Honestly, like Shoot is not a character I expected to love, but I love Shoot.
Like, I'm trying to think in like Shonen where like side, like Full Metal Alchemist, like every side character gets something to do like by the end. There's like one part in Naruto where a side character gets like an actual good ass fight, and it's like surprising how good it is.
Rock Lee.
That's more of like a tournament fight, but that one's very good as well. It was more Shikamaru versus Hidan, if anybody knows that. But
no, I don't think anyone.
Don't worry, shut up.
I don't think anyone knows about that.
Even like Dragon Ball Z has some like okay one, but Goku always has to come in and save the day.
In Dragon Ball Z, it becomes less.
I love Tien like getting a moment in second form Cell, but like he didn't win. He just got to wait for Goku and Gohan or Vegeta jobs out.
Vegeta does job out hard. But yeah, nothing compares to Welfin here. Like Welfin is so great, and then like it's even better because he's expecting to die, and the king is like I don't have a reason to kill you. Welfin, you were honest with me. Like
Welfin's defeated the main villain of Pouf.
He really did, and as you said, just by saying a word. And then the fact like once the king walks away, and is Welfin walk away or the king? And he's like,
he tells Pouf to keep looking for Pito. And he spares Knuckle and Mel and says, let him go when you're done interrogating them. And then the king thanks Welfin, spares him too, tells him her location. Or at least like
Kamugi's location.
Yeah.
Right? And then he's like, fuck you. Like, my real king is Gyro.
Yeah, he yells at Gyro, the real king. He's like, I hope you get to see him and live a human life.
This is the other big cry moment where I'm just like, fuck yeah. Like, Meruem is such a changed man.
It's so weird to have your main villain grow so much. He's not even a villain by the end. He is like probably the smallest body count out of like.
Well, no, we learned the body count.
Well, that's just more so the nuke. I mean,
no, the nuke doesn't kill anyone.
Okay, the meat garden, yeah.
The meat garden. That's what. Yeah,
I'm trying to think of like how many people.
They literally say that the Chimera Ants killed like 50,000.
I meant the king himself though.
I don't know. It's unclear, but basically
he did kill a village. But did he kill more people than the bombers in Greed Island?
Wait, physically,
or the Phantom Troop in the York New?
Well, we don't know how many people the Phantom Troop have killed.
Exactly.
Because they killed like hundreds of people. Right. Just in that one room, they just kill hundreds of people in the auction room.
Just alone, not just like ants in general, but...
Okay, yeah, I guess not. I guess he technically doesn't kill like any like named characters, right? He just kills like... he just kills a bunch of like humans.
He does attempted murder a lot of times, but... And he technically didn't kill the Netero. He killed himself.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't kill Netero.
So, someone could do the math. So the king could transform his end into photons, allowing him to read anything.
He just becomes God here. This is just him getting an OP ability that I don't think is important. It just is like he just needs to find Kamugi really quick.
Like, oh hey Palm.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah, you guys won. I just want to talk. Like, I have no reason to fight. Yeah. You guys win.
The fact that he literally says that, he's like, yeah, you've already, it's unclear, you have won. Just bring me Kamugi. I miss my friend.
I just want to see her. I want to spend my remaining, like, you just want to spend my remaining time with her. I don't have much longer to live.
Ask the bitch herself. I'm sure she wants to hang out with me too.
But Palm doesn't believe him. Like, she's like kind of freaking out. Yeah. Like, there's no way you're telling me the truth right now. But he calls her resolve beautiful, which kind of hits.
Oh, it hits. It really hits because like, yeah, another like Palm has just been shit on by everyone,
and she probably views herself like now like as uglier with like, the ant stuff on her. Probably like she probably gets to her. Yeah,
I think it's like the fact that someone is acknowledging her because like for Palm beauty is kind of important. Like we see that she puts a lot of effort with Gon when she like wants to go nice. So I don't know. It's also just nice. I like when people are nice to Palm. Everyone should be nice to Palm.
I remember someone posted like I think it was like forever ago on our Discord. They put like a popularity poll. I remember seeing Palm at the very bottom of like the Chimera Ant popularity poll. I'm like, she's great. I mean, how did she rank on the very bottom?
I don't know. I love Palm so much here.
So
she just doesn't get like a ton of time to shine compared to the like. She's kind of absent for a lot of the arc.
but the moment she's in is very good.
Yeah.
But she said she'll allow him to see her as long as she can watch, and he agrees to that.
Yeah.
And
that becomes important for later too.
And we cut the Pouf dying.
Which another
just dead in the rows of people he was brainwashing.
Similar to the Youpi scene where Youpi's dead, just like you see, like there's like a trail of blood too, like he was crawling.
Yeah,
and it's really disturbing. Like disturbing is just like, and Pouf is a bad guy. Like I hate Pouf, but
yeah, he's the main villain.
Pouf did not deserve to die this way. Like it just feels so.
No, he deserved that. He deserved to die as slowly and painfully as possible.
It's just I don't know. Even seeing Pouf suffer like that, it's sad. There's
Fuck
part
Pouf.
of it that's sad.
Fuck Pouf.
I mean, yes, but
and his little chibi selves.
But Pouf was kind of Pouf could have been like he could have been redeemed.
No, he couldn't. He's the most evil one out of them.
He was just emotionally unstable, a little emotionally imbalanced.
So
that is the last of our guards. All the real guards at this time are dead.
And the king finds Komugi and just wants to play. But as we cut to, but it doesn't cut to them playing it. It cuts to Blaster and Wolfen in an RV. Blaster said he's gonna stay in NGL, and we see Hina's servant outside, and says Hina also remembers her human life. He said the servant can't really talk; it's just a kid. And Blaster and the servant leave, and Hina, Wolfen, and Biza are looking for Gyro in Meteor City, and we'll never see them again.
On the road to Meteor City
to find Gyro Sapelli.
Okay, but then we have the incredible scene.
Blaster and the girl Ant.
Hina. Or no, her name is Rena.
Yeah.
Her name is Rena, because Hina
is the... Say Hina also remembers... Hina is the...
Hina's the little blobfish one.
She's the
Rena. Yeah, Rena is the little ant girl that, like, you think she can't talk, but then she can.
Yeah, she approaches the village, everybody kind of fearful, like, yo, like, both of them, anybody have any kind of reason just to talk to us? We're not here to hurt anyone.
I love... Blaster is such a funny character here. Like, he doesn't really give a shit anymore. He's just like,
he never gave a shit, though, because his whole thing is, when Chicago with him just blasting through every wall, like, I'm gonna get this shit done quick.
He's such, like, a funny, like,
he is literally... Anyway, I started blasting is Kuga.
Okay, wait. Let me describe this part because this is like my favorite part. So they go in to the town. Everyone hates them. They're terrified. They're like, "Oh my god, the ants are back. We're scared." And then Rena, whatever her name is, she walks into, walks over. She doesn't go into the house. She like looks into a house that was her former house. Her mom is there. Her mom turns around and sees her and recognizes her instantly. She's like, "Oh my god, my daughter!" Runs over, hugs her, and then like Rena is like crying. I'm crying.
I know what my daughter looks like.
Yeah, like so then it's just like this scene where you have this poor girl who was the victim of this weird circumstance is finally like back home and accepted.
Well, she also says like my brother tried to protect me. And...
Yes, which is so good. It's like. She mentions Colt,
and that's gonna be awkward when we get to that in a chapter or two.
In like one chapter, and then we see Blaster is just like, I don't really need this, so he turns around to leave.
He's like, my job here's done.
Yeah, and then Rena runs over and she's like,
join us.
Yeah, she's like, come on, we have food, and then he like joins them, and then he's happy, and then he gets to be.
He's gonna protect the village.
Yeah, like. Blaster, the stupid joke character who is like doesn't fit in anywhere. He doesn't have any memories of his past. He doesn't feel like he belongs.
He didn't have a purpose. He's gonna stay in NGO just to wander in the forest and just like no, you're like I want you to join us. You're like oh,
there's this like thing in media that gets me every time because like I wish it happened more in real life where it's like people always like lifting up the people that need it the most.
And you're getting close for characters you're definitely not gonna see again.
Yeah,
and, like you don't like I haven't got this satisfied in a conclusion for like character probably not gonna see again since like FMA did like Brotherhood had their ending, and just like you get that closure for every character. It's so nice to see that for a change.
Yeah, and so it's like Rena here has done like literally nothing. Like Rena is a character
she was a mindless servant for the exorcist Hina.
Yeah, like from a character point of view, all she did was like
she carried Biza.
Nothing. Yeah, she like literally just hung around, and then now she's given this moment where she's able to like reach out a hand of kindness and accept Blaster, and where like Blaster would just probably go out and be bad. Like he probably would just go and be like a shit asshole, like hurt people. But no, she's like accepting him, and like I just think there's something so powerful about this character that's not really important. Like he's not an important part of the arc, but the fact that he's able to get this ending, the fact that he's able to get this ending is so meaningful to me, and I cry. I was literally weeping reading this morning this chapter.
It made me feel super good like reading that. So before that chapter ends, we get like
it just gives you hope. It just gives you hope in the world.
Well, they make you feel downer after that. The news comes on and it's like, oh yeah, the whole thing was a murder-suicide pact. And that happened. And then there's a video of
that's when they explain that the casualties are like 500,000 people.
I think it was actually a little bit after this actually.
I thought it was from the news report.
No, it's like the last chapter.
Okay.
So and then we had a video of Netero. He's resigning too, and he had. Only a few could see it as his last will. Like the ones that know what is going to happen. So yeah, we cut to the hospital with Moral in there with Palm and Akago too, all looking depressed. Well, Moral's on the phone, but like Moral's fine, but Palm and Akago are like really depressed in there. And ants will be classified as a new magical creature species, which is interesting. Yeah,
so they're not going to be like in prison. Like they're kind of being written out of the history book here, like because they definitely are the reason why it happened, but they're kind of. They're making sure that that's not what's being recorded.
Yeah.
So it's a cover-up.
Yes, essentially.
It's a government cover-up.
A big conspiracy.
Also, the other thing, too, is that the Hunter Association gets control of the NGL.
Yeah. It's going to be mostly into a nature preserve run by the
Hunters.
Yeah.
Because they also explain that, basically, what's it called? East Corto was just, like, this is such a huge disaster that like 500,000 people died. So like all the other governments, like basically the UN of Hunter x Hunter came in and just like dissolved all of their resources, like made up everyone refugees. Like it's really weird.
Imagine if the Illuminati or the UN just came in North Korea, like you got it done.
That's literally what happens. That is like literally what happens here. Like
all right, this guys go shoot.
I mean, if they're ever
you're a nature preserve now.
If there ever was to be like a weird Chimera Ant thing in real life, it probably would happen in North Korea.
Kim Jong-un and his sister and then use it. Oh god.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
Be that it's just Trump.
Basically.
So yeah, and then so he calls Colt, and Colt says there's a problem, but we're cut away from that though.
Yes.
So hold on.
A little bit of tease.
So everyone waiting on Gaun's in critical condition on life support. Like, and like you don't even see like an outline of it. It's just this giant black mass you're just seeing behind the curtain. Like it's like weird. And then so Killua asks, which is he could ask. He was there to ask. Sorry, let me get my
your Nen back.
My Nen, yeah. So yeah, he asked him. I'm losing it. 2.5 hours. No, Killua, which is gone, asked him to help him with Kite, so he didn't do it alone.
Yeah, and which is one of those other super heartbreaking moments because it just feels like it makes Killua feel like he's left out. Yeah,
and he swears he will be made to apologize to him. And so Nob tells him he's putting a medical team together for Gon, but Killua says, you can put your team together, but I'm going to go save him my own way.
Yeah, I think he even says like, get the doctors in. They're important.
Treat him.
Yeah, they need to be here now to help him, but I'm going to save Gon.
Yeah. So, this is when we learn the baby that the queen left for Colt is not his sister. It's fucking Kite.
Kite.
As a girl. As a little girl.
As a little rat girl. As
weird.
A little rat girl.
Like, what the fuck? I was like, I at least shouted, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's why I think we talked about it last episode. I was like, you will never predict what's going to happen with this baby.
First off, someone's kind of tell Colt that his sister's alive, like,
I know.
in this.
That's the reunion I want to see.
Yeah. And second of all, like, so at some point the queen had to be fed, like a limb or a part of Kite. And then just gave birth to...
Which isn't too hard to believe, because, like, Pito in the hive was, like, experimenting. So it's not too hard to believe that they fed some... Because they were looking for powerful Nen users to feed.
It's just weird, like, hey, Gon, there's a little rat baby Kite alive over there. You wake up.
I'm extremely excited to see the direction they take with this character.
It was so weird. Like,
I love it. I think this is fascinating.
It's like, that's not my sister, though. It's Kite. That's a story for Colt. I'm like, I'm gonna raise my sister back again, and you're just like, nah, your sister's in the village back there with the lobster man. So yeah, and then Palm cries to Akago, just saying it's over, it's all over.
Because she witnesses the final moments.
Yep.
Which is the other heartbreaking scene that makes me cry.
This was depressing for me, man. So King plays the game, and he tells her his name finally. And
yeah, he's like, call me Meruem. She's like, all right, Lord Meruem. He's like, no, don't call me Lord. It's weird. She's like, I can't help it.
And then they have a very intense game. Kamugi is so fucking happy to be playing again. But he tells her he is poisoned. He's spending his last time with her, but she wants to go out with him.
I think I think what they do is he says like, if I win, you have to stop calling me Lord. And then she's like, okay, what happens if I win? Or he's like, and then if you win, she's like, I want to get another game with you. Like basically, yeah, she like loves him.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, because she risked her life on the line and said, if I ever had to go back to my family with no, like, Gungi, like, it's gonna be, like, nothing. I'll be nothing, and, like, I'd rather be dead. And it's, like, since if the whole thing happened, like, the whole country's dissolved, and there's no Gungi, she'd rather be dead, and she had to go out with the person she loves.
Yeah, it's really, like, well, it's so bittersweet because, like, it's sad that she dies.
And he dies in her fucking arms.
I know. Yeah, he dies first.
He can never win, and he just dies in her arms.
Yeah. Which is like, and I love the line that she has where she's like, I feel like this is like the most important moment of my life. Like, I was made to experience this moment where we get to like just sit down and play. And privately, don't have to worry about all this other bullshit.
It hurts.
It really does hurt. It is so tragic. It's a very like classic tragedy thing, but I love it. I think it's such a good way to deal with the character of the king in a way that doesn't break the universe.
Yeah. So, this is when we get the numbers, though.
Okay, it was after that.
So, 478,594 people died from the selection process. 46,613 died from the poison. So, basically...
Whoa, from the poison?
Yeah, because I guess... Because they were in the crowd. Remember,
oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because
the king was out in the crowd.
Pouf died in the crowd, too. And then,
damn, that must have been a fucking nightmare.
It's over like 500,000. So NGL became a nature reserve under the Hunter Association, like we said. Next chairman will be elected by all hunters. It must be 95% of hunters, or they have to redo it again.
Yep.
So
how do you think that's going to go over?
Good luck with that. We can barely do that in our country.
I think that in our country, at least, there's like an average of like 45% voting turnout.
So I said, look at all these new characters. I wrote Cal Law from One Piece, Hurt Hair, Twin Firetail, Samurai, Flower Woman, Baseball Yu-Gi-Oh character, Big Hat Girl, Back Hair Afro Man, Bunny Girl. All the ones I noticed.
All right, and those are... Do you know what they're called? Did they drop the name yet?
No. I'm gonna say the electing, like, the candidates, I guess.
I'm gonna give you a hint.
Are they called candidates?
Junie Tyson.
No, are they? You're bullshitting me, are you?
No, not called Junie Tyson.
Okay.
They're the Zodiacs.
Okay. Like, don't do that to me, not again.
Well, that's what Junie Tyson was all. Like, they were all the Zodiac.
I know, but don't you triggered that show's memories. And then going downhill.
So yeah, is that it? Is that
I guess
the end?
That's the end. That's the end of my notes.
Oh my god, Sam.
2.5 hours in. So, anything else? Anything you want to talk about?
Everything.
I mean, like, any key things you still want to talk about, or?
I think that was really everything. Like, I was able to squeeze in a lot of my little thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, how long? You know how long the next arc is?
It's maybe like 20 chapters, 25 chapters. Let me check.
Because
it's quick.
All my predictions are just like all these people that are introduced are trying to go for the head seat, and I know Jing appears, and I know Leorio appears. I'm wondering if Leorio is the focus character, or Killua and like Leorio are going to be the focus for these.
I think Jing was actually on screen.
Was he on screen?
I think or on screen, whatever. And I think there's a panel of Jing actually.
Okay,
that you might have passed over.
Okay, because I know Jing appears, I know Leorio appears in this arc.
Sorry, it's actually called the 13th Hunter Chairman Election Arc.
Okay.
That's the official name of it. This is going to be...
319?
It's exactly 20 chapters.
Okay. That'd be a quick one.
It's very quick. It's one of those, as they called, like, transitionary arcs.
Yeah.
I guess is, like the term that the fandom uses.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I know Leorio's I think Leorio, and I wonder if it's gonna go with Killua still for this, or if Killua is going to Dark Continent arc. I don't know. I know Kurapika is the main character in Dark Continent. I know that.
Okay.
Because I've seen that.
So, yeah, basically the other big thing is like the Hunter selection is like the last arc of the anime. The last arc the anime covers.
I know the ending of the anime, but I want to guess that's different than the manga.
We'll see.
Yeah.
There's actually something like pretty insane that the anime doesn't do that the manga has.
Okay.
But like, and then so I guess we'll see where we go from there.
I don't know how they can cure Gon. Like, I'm gonna go cure Gon. I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna do that, my man. How can you let me find someone with the Nen to de-age someone?
I don't want to say anything because we'll talk about it.
Or they find a baby Kite. Like, look, Gon, it's Kite.
Gon just shoots back up. I'm all better now.
Oh boy, thank God! Now I de-aged the same age as Kite to be his big brother. Like weird shit like that.
No.
So I can't really make any predictions other than this. People are gonna be like yelling at each other. Like I want to be it. And maybe they fight each other. I've seen like images of Cow Law. Like it's the one guy. Like, I just call him. He looks like the back of him looked like Law from One Piece. But just with a cow print pattern.
I can't remember if they actually have names or if they just go by their. I think they just go by their.
I guess he's the cow / bull or whatever.
The cow. I think they just go by their zodiac names. Except they all have real names.
I'm trying to think.
They are
okay,
humans.
that definitely is rabbit. I'm just saying back hair. What's the hairiest animal in the zodiac?
I mean, they're all pretty hairy.
He could be dog.
Dog is a zodiac animal.
Do you know what I do to remember the zodiac animals in my head? I want you to guess.
Do you think of like a barnyard?
No.
What?
Jackie Chan Adventures.
That makes more sense.
That
makes a lot of sense.
Who could be? I don't know the base.
So who do you? Okay, so based on that, so we know that
none of these characters are going to be the chairman.
None of them. Okay. Do you have a prediction for who the chairman will be?
Probably Jing.
Okay.
Or Leorio.
Bold choice. Let's see how it plays out, Cotton.
Or maybe not one of these, because.
So not one of the no.
You guys are too gimmicky. None of you can do it. Right, unless or a mysterious third party, or hey, Hisoka's the leader of the Hunters now.
What would even fucking happen? Like that is like a nightmare scenario.
He's gonna at the end gonna cut to the hospital door opening. It's gonna be Hisoka like the Control Delete going in there and seeing Gon's like room, and then swinging in front of him trying to revive him. Like he used to always work.
He's always got him to run away.
Oh man, but the thing is, like, I'm wondering, cause I know how much didn't go for much longer with highest hits, and like, I want to know, like, Kago and Palm, like, they can still pop up, cause they seem like they're gonna be members. Cause we don't really get Mel kind of gets the shaft compared to the rest of the members of the Invasion crew.
The thing is, he's not very like useful from like a power standpoint. He's literally just like a utility, like
invisibility. But I feel like he didn't get like at least a little like character as much as the other ones did though. Like even in Calgo got like Calgo had this whole thing. And he was a big part of getting Wolfen to like just like change sides and everything. Yeah. Where Mel was just there to like run away, Knuckle get a couple punches, and he like be the messenger essentially to rely information on each of them. Which I think is the only like down point. I think. It is interesting to have Youpi and the Pouf just die from the poison, but like I still kind of think like they could have had to get their like if they were powered down, they could at least gotten beaten by one of the people just to get that resolution from them.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of the point is that like you're not supposed to really get resolution, and like the one resolution that you get with Gon killing Pito is bad. Like this is an objectively bad thing that's happening. And we shouldn't feel good. So that's the thing that's so unfortunate about, and this is something that like Super Eye Patch Wolf has mentioned a bunch.
I have to watch his One Piece video, not One Piece, Hunter, because I'm not sure where that stops.
It's funny because that was like the first video he made. Do you know the lore about him?
I know the Gone in 60 Seconds lore of him trying to get Wooly to watch Hunter, and Wooly won't do it.
So the reason why Super Eye Patch Wolf exists as a YouTuber is because Wooly kept shitting on Hunter so much that he made the first video he ever made was why Hunter is great and you should watch it. And that was the very first video he made, and that's why, and that video blew up. That is why he exists.
Have you watched Gone in 60 Seconds?
I've seen them. Yeah. Okay, it's funny. The reason why Super Eye Patch Wolf exists is because Wooly is
thanks Wooly.
Wooly hates actually everyone. They all used to make fun of it, and there was a thing where I think Pat was actually going through Hunter. And he would update Wooly on the podcast, and like he would just talk about it, and like Wooly would be so angry. He's like, I don't want to fucking hear about this.
Like, you want to talk about Doom to me?
But Sam, the Bene Gesserits are so cool and interesting.
Is there a Dune manga?
I don't know.
That's the only way.
No, but like it's really funny.
Do you have any negatives in Chimera Ant though? You want to say? Just get it off your chest.
That's actually really good.
Because I'm curious. Because like. There are a couple, like, might be little nitpicks, but, like, overall, I love the invasion part. I think the whole thing, like, the training stuff is kind of neat and everything, but, like, I think the first part is definitely a little bit slower, but I think that definitely picks up on the second half of the first half of Chimera Ant.
Yeah, I think okay, for the palace invasion, if I had any negatives, I think it kind of is what with what you're saying with like it's a shame that Youpi dies because like it feels like he has such an arc and that you want him to like live up to that, but
or have like one last encounter with Knuckle or something before he dies or something like that.
But at the same time, like I think part of the whole arc is like how horrible conflict is, and it goes into like how ultimately like self-destructive conflict is. So
literally,
and like the point of it isn't that this is like a fun shonen arc and like we have all these new fun characters. It's like these characters are like
it's probably the most depressing shonen
damaged.
Arc. It's probably the most depressing shonen arc that I know of.
Yeah, at least if we say when we're talking about shonen, we're talking about like Shonen Jump.
Yeah, the biggest downer and like
I would say that Chainsaw Man rivals that a bit.
Oh yeah, Chainsaw Man it's huge, especially right now.
Chainsaw Man feels like an anomaly.
You're not caught up, are you?
I'm not caught up.
You haven't hit the depression yet.
I've hit some depression. Like chapter 20 is pretty depressing.
Oh, you're not anywhere close to the true depression.
I know, but like I don't want to spoil anything with Chainsaw Man, but there's some early depression in Chainsaw. There's like chapter 1 is depressing.
Once you get caught up on Chainsaw Man, we have to do an episode on that.
Yeah, we will. We need to do we need to do a Tower of God episode.
We can do Ragnarok.
Yes, we do. Damn,
it's a lot.
We're just like a little podcasting empire.
Well, we got one episode was like the election thing would probably be a quick episode, and then we have Dark Continent. I guess so far.
So I can't imagine that episode being longer than an hour.
Let's see what combine that with Dark Continent.
So okay, I was just looking at how the fan base is like dividing the arcs, and the arc after election arc is 8 chapters.
Oh.
And I don't know why they're choosing to do that. I think they should just lump it with the next one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe, should we combine both of those?
We will, yeah.
Okay.
What we'll do after the Hunter election is we'll just do I think maybe we'll just do a catch-up where we read all the way to the current chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cry. Actually, I haven't even read that far yet.
That'd be fun. No, we haven't even touched that.
I'm really close. I think I'm like 30 chapters from current.
If you listen this far in the comments, definitely put your pros and cons of your pros, your cons, and your MVP of Chimera Ant.
Oh, okay, let me answer these. So, okay, MVP is really hard. For me, it's either everyone's so fucking good. Okay, if I have to pick one for each side, I'm gonna pick one for each side.
What, one for the Chimera Ant?
Yeah.
Or
one for the guards, because
okay.
So for me, Youpi, total MVP.
Yeah,
Youpi's whole arc and like his transformations are so badass and cool.
Youpi and the King are my MVPs. King especially has surprised me so much in this.
Okay, I actually do have a con. I have a good con too.
Okay.
But so for my MVP for the humans, it's either like Shoot, because he's great. It's like everyone. I literally love everyone. I can't pick one.
Do I put Welfin as the MVP for the hero side?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Because he's probably had my favorite, most tense moment in.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite moments. Okay, here's my con.
Welfin and Palm, probably.
Yeah, Palm is up there too. It's probably Palm and Shoot if I had to pick two, because I just like I'm so surprised with them, but I love them so much.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest con is that just because of the structure of the whole arc, Komugi plays such a small role.
Yeah.
And it sucks because Komugi's one of like the best parts of the first half of the Chimera Ant.
And then she gets immediately KO'd and then a non-factor until she gets like finally healed.
Yeah,
and then gets knocked out again.
Yeah. She's kind of just like a plot.
But the last moment with her made up for that, I personally think.
Yes, it does. And I think the other problem too would be like if she was conscious for that whole time, it would be hard for her to be in that state of denial, like because she doesn't even realize that the ants are ants. Like she thinks that it's just her leader.
I almost had a guess that but Pita was gonna like heal her vision accidentally when like just fixing her up with the doctor. And then to actually see the king for once, so she actually opened her eyes and realized she was like able to see now.
I kind of like that they don't.
I know.
Give her her vision.
I know. I was surprised. I had to think. I thought that could happen. Though.
You know, I mean, it's funny that doesn't come up at all, but
I think definitely the pro. The invasion itself was just the biggest pro. It's so rad.
Everything is so like perfectly structured, and like the way that Togashi like pairs up characters and like has it so like even though these characters are only a couple 100 feet apart, like they feel like they're in different worlds because of how different the conflicts are.
So I already said my con throughout here. So
yeah, I think my biggest con is like just unfortunately Komugi isn't in it, even though she's so fun. And like, I love the idea that they bring up in the first half where she's getting so good at Gungi.
She was developing a Nen.
Yeah, she's becoming like a Nen user. And I wish that they had done something with that.
I was expecting then, like, when she, just once they were carrying her around, they would get, like, at least some information about, like, learning about the king being, like, a nice to her and everything.
Yeah.
And, like, you think they learn a little bit about that from her, but Killua just knocks her out.
Yeah, because initially, before they even go in, they bring up the idea of, like, oh, what if the king has, like, a human concubine? So when they go in there, like, they have this impression that, like, oh, the king is, like, trying to, like, mate. I think we mentioned this, like, an hour ago, or 2 hours ago, maybe. And it's just interesting that it's like a completely different thing.
So anything else?
I don't really.
This is the plug part so we can get this under 3 hours.
I don't know. It's one of those things like kind of last time. I don't want to go. Like I love talking about Hunter x Hunter. It makes me so happy.
We'll be back for the election arc.
Yeah.
The Junie Tyson election arc, as you said.
Yeah, and then the catch up. It's all happening.
And then we'll hit hiatus, and then we will have to maybe do some other thing. Who knows?
This will be our second our backup podcast. Will be the Hunter x Hunter when a new chapter comes out.
Yeah, once like my hair goes gray. So all right,
it'll be like Wolf, and you'll age 100 years waiting for the chapter to come out.
Just like Berserk. At least Berserk got one new chapter recently. So
yeah, it's true.
So hey, maybe we do Berserk, I guess.
I would love to actually read Berserk.
But first, you have to read one of my crap.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I wanted people to start thinking of like, what should we do? Because I like the idea of us having like a side like show that we do. We cover like manga and big arcs like this. What would you guys like to see us cover? I know we've talked a lot about doing Dragon Ball.
Yeah, Dragon Ball manga
would be one that I would like to do.
I would love to put Jim through Naruto.
I'm gonna be honest, Sam.
I want to so bad.
I cannot fucking.
I want it so bad.
I know it won't be worth it. That's the problem.
It will be worth the wait.
It's not gonna I cannot. I just hate Naruto so much. I can't, Sam.
Jim, part of being a Naruto fan is hating it.
Yeah, I don't want to live that life.
It's great.
I don't. I like to enjoy the media that I consume.
You will enjoy the first. You definitely will enjoy it, but you also hate it.
I really vehemently disagree. I feel like I will not enjoy Naruto. I'm sorry.
One Piece.
That's gonna be my big veto. Oh, One Piece. One Piece should be the next one probably. I need reason to read One Piece.
The arc can go on for a long time. I mean, you split up for like multiple. Like
we could do that. We could like split up arcs. Maybe.
For Dragon Ball, One Piece, I really want Naruto, but it's probably not gonna happen. Jim's gonna like not want it.
I'm gonna be honest. Gonna hard veto Naruto every time. It's gonna take like a big like $1 million donation. Come in for me to do.
Everybody in the comments say Jim should totally read through Naruto, and
no,
because there are, and then what are they called? Anything? Or there's a couple one-offs we can just do as well, but
yeah, as you said, like we'll do Chainsaw Man.
We do Chainsaw Man.
It's more satisfying when it's like a completed series that has like big arcs that we can like divide and do in chunks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Plug part.
Plug it up.
All right. Thank you very much for listening to almost 3 hours of Hunter x Hunter bullshitting.
I'm trying to think of how much total time we've talked about.
Too much.
It's at least approaching 8 hours. No, way more than that.
Yeah.
It's at least approaching 10 hours.
Oh wow.
Of total Hunter x Hunter time.
Exhausting to think about. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Join the Discord if you haven't to discuss anything JoJo. You can talk about any like Hunter x Hunter as well if you want.
We did. Yeah, we did recently make a manga page.
Yeah.
A manga. What do they call it in Discord? Channels. I'm not good with technology. So yeah, come and put posts of Hunter x Hunter in there and see them get no attention except from me. If
you're living under a rock and don't know, you can listen to our JOKAKAKA with exports. We just recently did that. We've done a couple JOKAKAKAs. We did. I had Grapefruit on. We had Oceans. Yes, and this is a hiatus month, so in October we hopefully will have a new chapter. So stay tuned for that. Feels like so weird. It feels like we haven't had a new JoJo chapter in like it does feel literally long. A year. I'm kind of glad because I was able to grind through Chimera Ant because of that. So. Yeah, honestly, like it was really nice to not have a. It was nice to have a break from JoJo. So, to be honest. And then you follow the podcast on Twitter, and each of us separately also on Twitter. And anything else I'm missing? No. No, you have anything else anything to plug? I want to plug a little book series by Frank Herbert. No, ending it now. Called Dune. All right, thank you very much for listening. Bye. Thanks so much. Bye. Fuck Dune.